He keep running towards Burton. He not trying to let me get off with Burton for some reason. Maybe it's just my square receiver. He just happened to be on that side. But Ambry Thomas cannot guard Velus Jones Jr. So, Lord Jesus, that's the problem.
Yeah, there can't guard that motherfucker, huh?
Cannot guard that nigga. Not one-on-one. He can't. Bless his heart. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Damn.
Good throw. Fucking Chase Lucas. Getting fucking burnt.
Pelicans gonna trade Zion Williamson. They gonna trade his ass.
Fuck, he's trading me corners that's getting burnt and shit. Motherfucker.
You keep gonna get them motherfuckers.
My last
trade them to your ass too. I know. Yeah, I know, fuck, man.
This
He
nigga
trading them.
was
He
a
trading them for a reason.
Nah, he was a rookie last year. It's not even. You can't even say that. He was a rookie last year. There's a slight chance he wasn't gonna play for fuck. It was just a chance player. But god damn, bro. About to do some butt shit. About to throw a post right here.
CJ McCollum is out that joint. Damn, just think about it. It took for LeBron to get 38 years old for motherfuckers to be not scared of his ass to go right at him. I done seen more motherfuckers go at LeBron, just go try to go right at LeBron and shit, and I have his whole career, bro.
Seville.
You went looking through some teams already, Ant?
A little bit, not really, just position.
Oh, Sewell. Okay, he was X Factor, huh? Sewell, Noah Sewell.
Hey, dog.
Hey, dog. I see he X Factor.
God damn it, bro. Come on, Keith. You gotta wrap up, baby.
Aquarius Robinson, I seen him.
Damn.
All right, man. Sunday, fun day, man. All day today was draft, you know what I mean? The day was going smooth up until somebody did some bullshit. Other than that, you know, I was prepared to, you know, really get into my GM mode. Did a little bit of that once, you know, once we got out of the AFC Championship loss, we went in full-fledged GM mode. Put the puzzles together and played the puzzle situations. A lot of big time moves happened, man. After the draft, a lot of numerous teams made some trades, and it was a whole lot of guys trying to make trades. So you're starting to get the activity I've been waiting for a long time in our league, man, where everybody start to get, you know, get it. And instead of sitting back complaining and you know, and secretly saying shit and hating and all that, do your own damn thing, man, because it's there for you to do. Anything you can do, I can do. Anything I can do, you can do. But anything I can do, you can do. Anything you can do, I can do better. It's that simple. Get into it. Do what you gotta do. You know what I'm talking about? Like, so, all I'm saying, just get into what you gotta get into. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, come on, Snake Man, you kicked it today. And look, everybody, I see the movement that happened. Niggas got to it too early. Fuck it, next year. Chalk it up. Do what you gotta do. Get into it next year. You know what I'm saying? Instead of sitting here, not trying to figure out. Now, I'm not saying you gotta copy anything like that, but just instead of worried about what the next man is doing, you need to worry about what you got going on. Man. Step your fucking game up. Flat out.
GMing, coaching, free agency, drafting, or trading. Do what you gotta do, but step your game up.
And if you're not a participator, you cannot be a hater either at the same time. You ain't gonna do the things you gotta do to get shit done, then that's on you. Snake, man. Everything that happened leading up to this draft, man. You know, this wasn't a public draft. This wasn't something we talked about for days. And we didn't give out jewels and gems and things like that. Everybody was just locked in and moving around, man. I was excited at things and disappointed in a whole lot of things, Snake. I don't know what your your take would be, but that's what I got out of this draft. Excited about a lot of moves and a lot of people, a lot of some familiar names went to some spots I think they're gonna be really good at, and then you got some familiar names that's going to graveyards, guaranteed fucking graveyard spots. And that's the sad part of it,
Rest
man.
in peace.
Get player career over before he even stepped on the field. Like soon as he got
Man,
drafted, they knew,
they
coming out
dropped
of
the
the green room,
tombstone
bro.
ASAP when they got drafted. They came to the stage with the tombstone. As they
Yep.
walked to the stage, the tombstone came from hanging out the ceiling. It was some Undertaker shit.
Right away though, right? It
Oh
was
my
right away.
gosh.
So what we want to do is we want to give you a recap. We're going to take you through the first 10 picks, and then we're going to start talking about positions and the guys that came out, where they went, and all that. We'll give you our debates. You know, me and Snake gonna do what we do best, baby. We gonna talk that work. He might disagree with what I say. I might disagree with what he say. But 9 out of 10, we gonna agree on a lot of fucking things. I can tell you that for sure. Flat out can tell you that right now, man. So as we go to it, again. So to figure out why Baltimore Ravens for the last 2 drafts has had the first overall pick in the first 2 real drafts, you got to go all the way back to the last Game of Thrones draft, and you got to watch after that draft what happened, before that draft what happened, and then futurely what happened for them to be able to condition themselves and get Eric DeCosta and the great Ozzie Newsome their plans, without revealing anything. But they set themselves up in the last Game of Thrones draft to be able to be where they are in the drafts for the last 2 years, and they won, bro. They won on their for picks. Derek Stingley had a really solid rookie career as the #1 overall pick on a team that he didn't even start for. He played a lot but didn't start for. The guy finished the year with 9 interceptions as a rookie. That's great, even though we had Sauce Gardner, who started every down for the Lions, go fucking crazy in last year's draft, right? And last year was a little bit more steady. Guys seemed like guys got it last year. But when we go through the top 10, we're gonna talk about our woes and woos and our do's and don'ts.
See who really been paying attention these past couple of seasons. We ain't give out all the information, but we gave you the study guide. We just didn't open the book for you. So you know what I mean? You take that horse to water, you can't
we
make
walked
him
you to the
drink
front door of the library and told you to go do your research.
So we gonna see who did their research, man. Who stuck with the program and who learned something and did their own thing and actually came out good, and who did their own thing and just didn't really stick to the program.
In my opinion, Snake, a lot of guys are lazy, bro.
Man,
A lot of guys are lazy, and a lot of guys are babied by what type of commissioner I am, man. I bail out, I help out, I do a lot of things for guys, and they don't really realize, it. They love it while I'm doing it, and then hate it when I'm not doing it, or when things don't work their way. It's negativity off of the same shit you do every season, man. And it's your call, your way of moving is your penalty or
is your
it's
rise or
your
your
gift.
downfall.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Simple
people
as
don't
that.
realize you helping them out, giving them so much help. Like they just get used to it. It's cool here and there, but like,
They start expecting it, Snake. Flat out, start expecting it. If I don't do it, then there's a problem. If I do it, it is what it is. And when things are going right, everything's everything. When they go wrong, fingers get pointed. Um, Before we go through just positions in the young boys, we're gonna start with the Baltimore Ravens was on the clock at 5:23. With their pick already in, man. I mean, it wasn't even no hesitation. The guys that were sitting in the green room, was a lot of guys sitting in the green room. Snake, my question to you is: did everybody that went to that was invited to the draft, and those guys that were expected to go in the first round, did they all walk on that stage and shake Mrs. Goodell's hand, or did some guys have to sit there and be mad and wait till day 2?
Man, I think we had some people wait to day 2. We had so many, for instance, unexpected players going that first round. Like, oh my gosh, when the last time we had a draft, we had at least, was it 5 quarterbacks going the first round?
Man, 5
Or
quarterbacks,
6,
about
5 quarterbacks,
about 10
about 10
linebackers,
linebackers.
like 5 tight ends.
Yeah, like Oh man, this is one of them. This was an interesting draft, and like I think as we break it down and go into some of these teams, we're going to see just how interesting some things was. Some
Really,
people
I think we really
like,
gonna see it. So we shoot out to Charm City in Baltimore, and at their draft party in their stadium, their fans went nuts when the Ravens put their card in and made their pick. Um, you know, they went and got a freak, man, a guy that that's been a really established name in our real draft. That's the thing. These guys are the same guys that be in the drafts every year in real draft. These guys are always in the drafts. They're there. They're always there. So this draft class right now that we're in, that we just did tonight, will be next year's real draft. Be the real class next year in 2022. And they'll be the first guys that we'll be watching at the combine and doing our homework on getting ready to draft them. And half the league will forget who these players were, and the other half is going to remember what we did with the players we drafted, and they're going to be wanting to draft those guys in that next year's draft. I mean, I seen guys that took names that they just remember. Simple as that. Remember names. And you seen guys that really had their GM hats on, man. I think you were one of them, Snake. I really like what you did in this draft. We'll talk about that as we continue to go. But when we look at the draft and we start looking at these 20-year-olds that come out, because yes, everybody that comes out of my real draft class starts at age 20. All right, Snake. The
go with
man
this first
child.
pick
Now,
from
he
the
wasn't the
Ravens,
number
huh?
one tight end in the draft. All right. Notre Dame's tight end was graded a little higher than him, just a little higher than him.
But
We
this
also
pick been
had
in for a few weeks already. The rumblers say this was
Yeah,
already known who the
this was our
Ravens was. It was just
going
the
into the
draft was just a
playoffs.
formality.
Going into the playoffs, they knew they had a sure shot at going in that draft and getting. I mean, we've seen 3 tight ends go number one overall in our drafts over the last 6, 7 seasons. We've seen three
Never had
tight ends
before.
go flat out number one overall. Again, Notre Dame's tight end, Michael Myers, was the number one rated tight end in this draft. Overall, I think he had more film, played more football, was really a really vital part of Notre Dame's offense. But
He
then
was probably
Darnell
the happiest
Washington,
person.
man,
That's probably the
sick,
happiest owner in the
yeah,
whole draft this year is the
flat
Colts.
out.
But Mike, he want them Notre Dame players, but we'll get into
hmm Well,
that.
Notre Dame usually send out some good tight ends every year, bro. They
Yeah,
got some. They got guys coming out in the
they
next
send out some
couple of drafts.
professionals,
hmm
right?
hmm
Um, so, well, this number one pick, Washington,
Right,
man, this
man.
tight end, this 6'8", freak of nature, man. Go ahead, talk about him, man. Tell the
Listen,
people
right.
from Georgia.
We loved how we loved our season, and what we did was it was the change of the guards. It was one of the hardest things for us as a staff to do, which was sit Lamar Jackson and hand the keys over to Allen Iverson's son, Anthony Iverson. But within the last couple of seasons, Chip Parker has been stepping up. Aaron Wesley, really good fast tight ends for this Baltimore team. That as when Lamar was on the field, you would think that the tight end would be his number one target, but it wasn't. It wasn't until recently Chip Parker took the starting job from Wesley and became a starter over here. But due to contract situations and way we moved, we knew we wanted another big time athlete at that tight end position because we thought that would be the next step to Allen Iverson's development. Having a guy that they can go to with the body frame of 6'8", 265 pounds, running a 4.3. Um, Huge, but he's not the only Georgia tight end that's that type of freak dog that Georgia had on their roster. Just think about the Georgia Bulldog football team. Um, at receiver, George Pickens. You had Jermaine Burton, who transferred out to go to Alabama. I mean, they got nothing but dogs over there, right? So the Baltimore Ravens had this pick in. They already, they brought him in for the interview. That was the last thing they wanted to do. See how he was on the chalkboard and what type of mind he has, man. And this guy reminded us completely of a Lamar Jackson. He's his own agent. He's going, through his mom. He put his mom through school to learn how to be an agent. So, they took the same path Lamar took. So we know we ain't gonna have no contract issues with him. He's a football guy first, man. He wants to play football, and it was almost the same conversations, man. help this team get to a Super Bowl. So we knew at one we were going here, and we definitely did that. Now, Snake, go on one and getting a Darnell Washington. What did the Baltimore Ravens get in getting this type of player?
Um, I mean, being that Iverson, that was his real first year starting, and you know what I mean. Even with Lamar, one thing about them Ravens, they like to use that tight end. Man, you got a 6'8" with the speed, that 95 speed that can move right. He's just a mismatch problem. Height, speed, everything. Like catching radius, his run blocking. He's just a mismatch problem out there, man. Georgia freak, 6'8", 265.
I,
Man, tight
I mean,
end could be that quarterback, mobile quarterback best friend.
yes, sir. Plays break down, man. You need to, go get you one. I think they got a guy that they can go get that. Now, Chip Parker has been a 1,000-yard receiver for at tight end for the last 2 seasons, and has really, really been playing really well for Baltimore. So I don't know, does Darnell Washington come in and be a day one starter? I do think he's going to have to work that. He's going to have to work to get to that, starter, but he definitely will be the number 2 tight end at this point. And we'll see what happens. But overall wise, 91 overall. Uh, you look at his true overall, 90 vertical, 88 blocker, 87 possession. So he's a 90 overall vertical threat. And that's what he's good at, man. Going down the field, catching them 50-50s and outrunning. I mean, he's, the league is fast. So you got safeties and linebackers that can keep up with him. But the mismatch is going to be the body frame of his body, 6'8", 265, going up against any safety in the league, any linebacker in the league. It doesn't matter, bro. He's a mismatch. And if they use him the right way, this can be a very, very dangerous weapon. This is the third tight end over the last 5 to 6 seasons that went number 1 overall in our league right now. And I think it was rightfully so that he would go number 1. You like this pick, Snake?
Yeah, it's almost like a weapon next.
Yeah, familiar pick for me. I played
It'll
with him
be
last year in
interesting.
Real Draft, and in 20 I played with him. So, a guy that I definitely bust moves in the last Game of Thrones. So 2 drafts ago, I prepared myself for this draft right here to be able to get this type of guy. Making the trades and future picking and things like that early to be able to stage myself in this situation, and a little luck had to happen because we had to project out. We had to project this can happen if we trade with him. This can happen if we trade this person. And if those things line up, and it did, the stars all lined up on this Sunday night for us to be able to pick Darnell Washington. This was one of the fastest first round picks. The clock literally ticked about 10 seconds, and boop, pick was in. Baltimore went crazy, and the fans in Baltimore that was at the stadium during this pick went bonkers. This was number 1 pick right here. Now at number 2, the Texans was on the board. Um, when you look at the Texans team and you ask yourself, what did the Texans need? And we take a deep dive into this Texans team. They already made the switch from Jalen Hurts, right? They made the switch from Jalen
Hmm.
Hurts to Kenny Pickett. So it's the Kenny Pickett show no matter what, right? Um,
Absolutely.
Obviously, if you go into a new quarterback, it got to be weapons and protection. This coach came into a really good roster already. They just needed to be coached up, and they need to be in a situation where they can make this roster their own and add pieces. So the first draft for the Texans coach, they had to hit, and they had to really hit really big right now. Again, you look at the
Man.
offensive side of things, they had 2 dog ass running backs. We still got Jawan Springs here. And then Clint Winfield was picked by the old coaching staff, but they like this running back here. At the receiver position, they're pretty solid. They got the speedster last year, and Tyquan Thornton, the 6'3" Tyreek Hill is what they call him. Um, so we like what they had already. So they
And that
lost the
receiver is
safety
a
to
deep
$200
position
million
as
dollars,
well.
right?
Oh
So
yeah.
I thought that they would. I thought they would go safety, but I'm gonna tell you like this: they addressed the safety position last year, even though they lost the $200 million safety that went to the Vikings. They picked up the kid from Penn State, who to me was a hell of a pick for these guys, right? When you look at Jaquan Brisker,
Jaquan Brisker.
yeah, 6'2", 203, 93 speed, 93 excel. So I thought they was pretty solid already at the safety position.
And
They
they
had a
grabbed
guy with
Forrest
speed back
Whitaker out of
there.
free agency.
Yep, snatched up Forrest Whitaker. He can change that name. Please do. So they addressed safety, but that wasn't their pick, man. They went and decided they wanted to go get themselves a true shutdown corner to go along with Rudy Franklin, the 6'4", 215 monster at corner over there. And they picked up Eli Ricks. This
Man,
corner had the same type of freshman year for LSU that Derek Stingley had. I mean, it was almost like Stingley went out in his rookie year and was the best corner in college football, and this kid did it the very next year.
very
Imagine
next
that
year.
tandem with them two playing together, Stingley and Eli Ricks. They call him Mr. Pick Six. They've been calling him that since his sophomore year in high school. He's a magnet to the football. He was the absolute best cover corner in this draft. And in my opinion, I love the pick. I think they really got themselves a true shutdown corner to go along with Rudy Franklin and Randy Thomas here. You like the pick?
Yeah, I look at it. You look at it. You got Franklin over there who's 6'4", Rudy
Mm-hmm.
Franklin. Then you bring Eli Rickson who's 6'3" to lock that other side in the
Mm-hmm.
groom. Like it's a heck of a pick. Like it gives you two solid number one cornerbacks back here that should be able to man up against go against any wide receivers out there.
Man, we looking at 6'4", 6 foot, 6'3", 6'3". Simple as that. The guys
Yeah.
that's going to play this year, those four corners, they're monsters and they can run. And when you look at, you know, you look at what's going on right now. I mean, this kid comes in with 84 man, 84 zone, but what makes him a dog is he can line up in front of your number one corner and keep him on the line of scrimmage with that 85 press. And then he's an athlete, 85 catching, as you can see, tackling 71. Got to work on the tackling. He does got really good hit power at four corner. He's almost at tweener, the tweener threshold with that 84, a little bit higher, right? Pursuit 93. He's an animal. Now he played at LSU. They went through a coaching change and he transferred to Alabama and got coached by Nick Saban. And you know what he do with DBs. So I think he got better, and I think this was, perfect pick at number two right now. They got better in their defensive back room right now. Is he a day one starter though?
Yeah,
At number two, day one starter. I think he
man,
comes
he
in and
day
make their
one
number two.
starter. In the NFL, the value for safety isn't high, so you'll be able to address that a little later. It's much more harder to find a true lockdown cornerback than a safety, so I think it's a heck of a pick at number two.
Yeah, we had some good corners in this draft, but this was the absolute the best corner in the draft.
Top dog.
Overall wise, top to bottom, he was the best corner in the draft. And at two, they get themselves an animal at two, man. I think they get themselves a guy that can shut down. Um, and you got receivers over there in that division from the Colts and the Jaguars that he's gonna be put to the test right away over there. So I like that pick. At number three, the Cardinals slid down into the number
Man,
three pick. They went from a playoff pick down to three, and they did this a
y'all
couple of weeks.
call
Yeah.
y'all call me Snake, this sneaky joker, man. Man,
Came down to
bruh.
number three. Now let's think about this before we go talk about their pick. Last year, the best linebacker in the league, in our opinion, the middle linebacker Isaiah Simmons was looking to retire last year. He did a little bit of movie scene things, and he's starting to talk about retiring at 31 years old. I mean, you got a guy that played, his lights out, and a few picks away from having 100 interceptions in his career. He's been a man in the middle. The award room is big. He has 4 Super Bowls. I mean, I can see it. I guess want to keep some of your brain cells and don't want to bang in the guys all the rest, for another 4 or 5 years. He's thinking about retiring. They made moves there though. They went and got Jacoby McLean last year's draft. They also picked up the year before. They picked up the 6'7" freak at outside linebacker. But these guys go and get one of the most
Mr.
famous high school linebackers that ever come out of high school. Period. And they went and got Justin Flo. What the hell? International Business AM. Never retire, always stats and hundreds, whatever you talking about. But anyway, they went and get Justin Flo, man. Look, so obviously this was something that they wanted bad because they moved all the way down to get that, giving up 2 superstar offensive linemen, and a swap pick to be able to get down to this.
Multicultural, never retire, always stacking hundreds. Like,
Right.
who's it?
What is that?
Wow.
International businessman.
International businessman.
Uh,
Oh yeah.
hey,
Hey, we gotta go fund me. You want to donate? Just let me know. We can chop it up. You want to donate?
mm-hmm.
You checking us out, man.
Oh, he's
Help us
stacking
push it to
hundreds.
another level. You
No
stacking
problem
hundreds.
donating.
Hey, man.
Los, man, I need you to check your DM. You heard? All right, so Justin Flo, come on. You know he's a famous name in our real draft. Honestly, I've played with Justin Flo. I don't think nobody else. This is the first time since we've been doing real draft has somebody else played with Justin Flo in our league, bro. This is my favorite, one of my favorite players, man. And it took a lot not to go get him at one, and stick with what we wanted and needed, and got the tight end. But Justin Flo, bro, animal, 93 speed, 93 excel. I mean, he's going to knock your fucking head off, 97 hit power. What does this do for the Cardinals, and do you like the pick? Obviously, they came from way back in the late 20s to come down to 3 to be able to make this move. What do you like
Oh
about it, Snake?
man. Well, word on the street is, man, this is Isaiah Simmons official. This could really be his official last hurrah. And like, what better way to learn, you know, how to learn this game than to come sit behind him and take notes. You look at this linebacker room over here, like we
It's
see
fast.
what it did
They
for the
upgraded
6'7" with
speed-wise.
Armand George. Like, they flying.
Yeah, they
Armand
upgraded
George
speed-wise.
has been around Isaiah Simmons. So you look at it, just look at this whole entire linebacker room. It's really, they were getting a little long in the tooth as well. So you got to bring them bodies in and see who emerges out the bunch. But this is a guy who definitely you know what's about to happen with him. Like, it ain't no questions. You want 97 hit power, like 93, like 6'3", Oregon. We know about him. We know what's about to happen with him. He about to be one of them dogs in the league, for real. I think it's a great pick, man. Like, one thing about the Cards, and you got some users that not necessarily that hold on to players. And you got some people in the league that actually, they retool before it's too late. They don't wait
Right.
till the fossils are fossil.
I mean, they absolutely got the max out of their linebacker core,
Mm-mm-mm.
flat out of Isaiah Simmons, man. But you're right, man. They get, they bring in a flow, man. And to me, I think the only thing we need flow to really work on is what Isaiah can teach him, and which is the coverage part of his game. He is a
Mm-hmm.
heat-seeking missile. He will zero in and he will lay the lumber to any player. I don't care your size. I don't care what you are.
None of that
He
matters.
will lay the wood to you. The question, that was, asked on him was, can he cover in the NFL? Where you're gonna have to, you're gonna cover some dogs, man. He has the speed, he has the size, he has everything he needs to be able to do exactly that. I think the Cardinals got to win here, getting Flo here, man, because they transition right from Simmons to Flo.
Mm-hmm.
Zobe McCain, he redshirted pretty much last year. He played but redshirted, and they got faster, man. They got faster at linebacker. Don't forget George played middle linebacker for the first 2 seasons here, and then they just moved him out to the outside linebacker at 6'7". Being in those passing
And
lanes,
he's
especially when you
striking,
drop back in the
bro.
flats, hard flats, or the curl flats. Those situations at 6'7", bro, that gives you a lot of leeway to do some things over. It's going to be really hard, to deal with this Arizona Cardinals linebacker room. Period. They're already known to have a really good pass rush. So when these linebackers, if they click and they get it together and they start playing that on the same accord, it's going to be an issue over here. So I love
He's
the Justin Flo
dangerous.
pick here, flat out, and that was the number 3 pick. So we slide into ATL to get us to the number 4 pick. And I called this pick, Snake. I said I thought steaming beaming time over here is washed. He had this team stagnated when they made this trade from Sidney Cake to steaming beaming. Um, they didn't get what they was absolutely looking for out of Steeman. He was a Cowboy drafted player. Steeman, he had some good times as a Cowboy, but he got to this Falcon team and they really haven't really got anything out of him at the quarterback position. Um, I thought this was a wild card pick. I had no idea what the Falcons would do, but history tells us it was going to be a skill player. Especially at 4. I didn't think they would attack the interior line or offense or defensive line or front 7 at all. Sitting at 4, I thought they would definitely look for somebody that can come in and be a franchise player for them. And who better than C.J. Stroud, the #1 quarterback in the draft? They got one of the highest
History
overall
tells.
guys as well in the draft. But Steven Beeman, his days in career is now going to be backup role, or he's going to find himself somewhere, another team to play on. You look at when he came from the Cowboys, we're looking at a guy who, 39 and 34 in his first year, 28 and 35 in the second year, 26 and 23. And then it got worse. 30 and 52, 36 and 42, and then 23 and 27 in 2028. So he turns the ball over way too much for a Falcon. And, they didn't get anything different out of him that they was getting from Sidney Cate, who is now your quarterback, who's been in the playoffs since he's been in the Cowboy uniform. He's been in the playoffs. But they haven't really, they haven't improved there. Do you think drafting C.J. Stroud, though, helps them with improvement at the quarterback play? Because that's what the Falcons need. They got the weapons. They got a whole lot of weapons. Um, the question is can the quarterback position play better football, man? Be a little safe, be a game manager, and a playmaker, and all in the same, same person. Got to better do both, man. Got to make plays and got to be able to know when not to, make the plays. No gamble pitties here. Do you think that they'll calm the interceptions down with a guy like C.J. Stroud, who doesn't throw interceptions? He was 75% on a year, his entire time as Ohio State as a starter.
I think one thing about these Falcons, like, well, history tells us that we know they're going to take a skill position.
Mm-hmm.
This guy doesn't. The Falcons don't really address their line interior, the core of their team early at all in any draft. I think I'd really like to. I would have liked to seen these Falcons actually trade back and pick up some core interior pieces. Like he's gotten his interior line a little bit better. Like
Mm-hmm.
but I think I would have liked to seen him strengthen that line. Having said that, if Stroud is your guy and us seeing that many quarterbacks go right the way they did, the run on
Mm-hmm.
quarterbacks, I gotta say, I think you had to. It worked out. It worked out. If you didn't go get your guy, he would not have been there. So I think, if this is the guy, we gotta definitely keep an eye on it. If this is the guy, that was a great pick, man. If this is the guy you really had targeted to try to take your team over that hump, uh, good pick, man. And we
Mm-hmm.
seen him run on quarterbacks go, so we know for a fact that he wouldn't have been there late in the draft at all or anything at all.
Nah, he
So
wouldn't have. He got the
just
quarterback though. Strong arm
right,
90, field general 90, improviser 87, scrambler 86. This guy has 88 speed, so he can be a dual threat, but he wants to sit in the pocket and dot you up. And I think that's
right.
what they
That's
looking
his
for
game.
over here with them.
Yeah. So I mean, like we definitely need to watch his development over here, and who knows? Maybe Beeman's on the block, and he can go out and get him a super dog offensive lineman or interior offensive or defensive line. We just haven't really seen the Falcons attack that at all
And
early.
that's part of the
Um,
problem with the
and
turnovers when
that's
you ain't
part of
protecting your
this team.
quarterback.
Like, yeah.
You know, when
So like,
they got to better protect C.J. Stroud. I don't care how
right.
good he is, how good he's been in college. He's in the NFL right now with a bunch of dogs trying to tear his head off to feed their family. So, in my opinion, if he doesn't, that front line doesn't, protect this kid,
Get
we're going to
somewhat
be looking at another
improved.
another one of those kids that
Get the
career over
interceptions.
before it starts.
Yeah, definitely.
I like the pick though. I'm not mad at the Falcons at all for this pick though. Let's just see how it goes from there. So we slide from
Definitely not mad at the pick. Like you
the
said,
pick.
he
Yeah.
wouldn't have been there at all.
Mm-mm.
Nowhere else. You had to
Hell
go
no.
get your guy. So it's a great
Now
pick.
Snake, I did not expect this many quarterbacks to go in the first round at all. I didn't expect it. I did not expect to see that. I thought quarterback play would have been a second round thing this year, and it was how many? About 5 of them went in the first.
I believe it was about five of them, and I know that you and Max definitely called the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 49ers was rumored
Mm-hmm.
on rumor mill. You know, what's this next pick? We'll get into. We'll talk about it as we go along. Now, who's the
Number five,
number five?
the number five, Desmond Ritter got drafted last year for the Indianapolis Colts and Coach Iris Tillman, which sent his quarterback to the Jets,
Oh, right.
branch to the Jets, and for a swap first and a third round pick, which pulled them from actually being a playoff team that this last season. They were a playoff team and moved them back down into the top five. And the coach slid back down to that top five, and in that top five, they went and got their guy, one of the best players in the draft, flat out, tight
Michael
end
Myers.
from Notre Dame, and Michael Mayers.
Michael Myers. Myers. Now, if anybody knows this coach owner, we know that they have all their ties in Notre Dame,
Yes,
man. You
sir.
know,
Their
half the
pipeline is Notre
family
Dame.
pipeline is in Notre Dame. They got all the inside phone calls, the booster meetings, everything else. Last year, you know, uh, they wanted a Notre Dame player, but it didn't happen to them. They wanted that top dog, so it was no
Hmm.
way in the world this owner was not going to go get their guy this year.
At
So
all.
I think this is like the happiest. This might be the happiest team in the entire draft because he got his guy this
He got
year.
his guy.
He
He
ain't let
definitely got his
nothing
guy.
stop him. And when
Nothing
you
got in
break
the
them
way of that.
down, like yeah, nothing got in the way of that. Like you say, this was actually probably the highest, one of the highest, definitely overall players that's ready
He's
to
ranked
go.
34 in the league
Ranked
and didn't even
34
play
right
it
now.
down yet. And he comes in this league with an X Factor tag right away. 93 speed, 92 excel. I mean, the kid, 95 special catch. He's a blocker for sure. Look at the run block. Look at the impact blocking. Look at the break tackles. He is polished in route running. He's been doing it since his freshman year at Notre
Freshman year,
Dame.
yeah.
This guy, he's played all more than all the tight ends in this draft. He's been one of the guys that been the absolute number
Consistent.
one weapon in their system. Um, no matter what quarterback was throwing the ball, he was the guy that was the steady piece over there. When guys game plan for Notre Dame, this guy was first on their list when it came down to the defensive room, trying to stop a tight end. He can do it all, in my opinion. I think the one thing he gonna need to work on is his pass blocking. But when you got a weapon like this, how many times you want him to sit back and be blocking? Like you want him to go out and go make plays for you. Um, I like the pick. I'm not mad at it at all. I would like to see what they're gonna do with their other tight ends. Like how they're gonna manage this because this guy comes in, he's the day one starter right away.
They want to
There
start
is
him number
no
one.
absolute no chance that he's not going to be the day one starter. As you can see, 94 overall right now. If you looked at his player archetype, he was the highest rated player in the draft.
He's a
92
true
vertical
92.
threat,
Yep.
91 blocker, and 91 possession. So they got a weapon over here. They've been very
Gives them a
very
weapon that they
dangerous.
haven't had actually. You
Yes,
know what I mean?
yes,
He's a little
yes,
bit
yes.
different than their other tight ends. And one thing about this coach user that we've actually been seeing these past few years, we've seen him increasing his passing game,
Yes,
like
sir.
and working up his passing numbers. We've seen him have some wide receivers on some of these lists and everything. So like, man, like I mean, this organization was all in for this pick, and I know they just jumping for joy. They
I
happy as
think this
hell,
kid is going to dominate the AFC South. I think
man.
within league play, within divisional play, I think he is going to dominate. 2 times a year playing Jacksonville, 2 times a year playing the Texans. I see it. 2 times a year playing the Titans. You're going to have to game plan for this kid, and if the way that those receivers been playing for him, if he can continue that, right, because they got better in their backfield as well. But if they could continue to get those receivers up and down the field, I mean, one of them had 41 yards to catch last year.
Oh my
So if they
gosh,
can continue to stretch the field like
everything
that, this
underneath
kid
should
can
open.
kill him underneath, right? Oh my God.
Underneath could
So,
still be 20 yards.
hmm
20-yard plays, that's first down. He's 6'5", 93, 93.
man,
He's a matchup problem.
matchup problem for sure. So we
Might
like this
come out
pick,
on X
man,
Factor.
at
Great
four. I
pick.
mean, at five. All right, so at six, this is where you don't
We
draft,
start
you
to
don't
get
get to it,
shaky.
but this sucks because I'm telling you
Mm.
now, this
Ooh.
pick is going. What we great talk about. This kid is
Oh
a
my gosh.
monster. Everybody and their mama is going to remember him for what he did in the Rose Bowl last season to Utah. But he Snake, man, one the best receiver in the draft. for sure. Jackson Smith Enigma, but he goes to a crowded receiver room in Green Bay. What do you see happening here, man? I think this is a great player that went to the wrong team.
Man, mm, mm. This is one of those teams, man. They have identity crisis, man.
Right.
As we just said about the Falcons, at times, like sometimes they don't address. They just go for skill positions. We're so far in the league, and everybody that done a bit of this. I mean, did you really need a receiver? Top six pick, like we've already been talking about a receiver. Matter of fact, let me stop that. Ever since we started talking about, we was talking about a receiver that was on this man's roster. Man, he done went in the dark. He done went quiet. I ain't heard nothing from him. And he had one of our receivers on this roster that we could arguably say like I've seen some of the best play out of this wide receiver in the entire league. Some of the greatest catches, period. He might have 3 of the top 5 catches in the league that I've seen, like on certain
Yeah.
stuff. And he's been quiet. They went heavy on wide receiver last year.
I mean, they drafted Traylon Burks, Arkansas, considerably a top 5 receiver in that draft. And they
You
got
got
the speed
Calvin
burner out of
Austin,
Memphis,
one of
Calvin
the
Austin the
fast.
third, 98 speed on ACL, who really didn't see any type of action last year whatsoever. Some would say a redshirt season, but I mean, and then they come right back again and get another receiver. I don't know how this is going to work when they don't really spread the ball around as it is. Usually you
Not to
saw
mention they
Thing
drafted a
Woon go
top tight end
crazy.
a few years back.
Yeah.
Like
So
I just would like to. This is one of those teams. Would you like to see? Do they learn a little bit, go in a little bit different direction? And I mean, this is we. I mean, Packers. We know they're going to go wide receiver, cornerback every draft. We can
every
call it.
draft,
That's all,
every
that's
single
just it. This wide receiver is one of the top dogs in the draft. One of the top wide receivers in the draft. One of the top 2 or 3 in the draft. And I just, yeah, he probably would have. They say he's better than all the other wide receivers the last 2 years
one. Right.
that have come out from Ohio State before him. And it's not his words. These are the other wide receivers. They say he's the most quietest kept secret over there.
My question
You know what I mean?
is this a graveyard? Like, is this guy?
Oh
You
man.
saw it in his face when he walked on the stage to shake the commissioner's hand that he was pissed off about where he got selected to play at, and they chalked it up. Oh, cold weather. I know you played in Ohio State, in Ohio, so you're used to the weather, but it's another animal out there in Green Bay, and it didn't seem like that was his concern.
Man, I think they have an identity crisis over there. Just oh man, this is a graveyard, man. This is very possibly a high graveyard status. This is like
Fast too, bro. We ain't even talking about like
man.
this is fast graveyard. Like this is like he's gonna be asking for a trade by week 4.
Oh man,
His agent gonna want out of Green Bay fast on the first train smoking. Get me out of here. So we leave number 6. We love the player. Again, you're looking at a guy that is a dog. Let's not ignore what this kid can absolutely do. Um, Dog. I mean, anytime you catch 13, 14 passes in a game for 300 something yards, you really unstoppable. You know, and he was quiet as kept. You had 2 dog receivers at Ohio State last year. He was the slot guy when those guys were still in college, and he led that team in receptions and receiving yards. And they had 2 first round talents that came out the draft last year. So he's exactly as advertised right now, man. 89 overall
he
dog.
is that dude. He is the
Problem
guy.
is, will he be able to get the football in Green Bay? We'll see. The jury's still out. When you go from 6 to the number 7 team in the draft, and you follow what happened with that 7th pick, the Philadelphia Eagles traded with the Tennessee Titans last year. They sent Trevor Lawrence to the Titans last year after they acquired Trevor Lawrence in a trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Trevor, being a playoff quarterback every year. Last year he was a backup. Just waiting. He just stole a check last year, man. Sat on the sideline with his motherfucker fitted cap on and his little clipboard. Knew he wasn't gonna play it down, and just talking to his agent to get him the hell up out of there. They did exactly that. Sent him back into that same division, AFC South, just with another team from Jacksonville to Tennessee. And now Trevor Lawrence is the starting quarterback again, in this league for the Tennessee Titans. But that trade allowed the Philadelphia Eagles to go from a playoff team to a top 10 team. So as we go look at the Eagles, the word was Philadelphia, and all the mock drafts had Jackson Enigma going to the Philadelphia Eagles. And the Packers, rained on that parade, and got the guy before they can get him. One pick before, man. First of all, Snake, when shit like that happen and you got one pick before you get your guy and they go, what does that do to you as a GM?
Man, I mean, it can make or break you.
Yeah, it could. It can make or break you. Do you feel like it broke the
definitely
Eagles?
Could drop a heart. Nah, I think it helped the Eagles.
I do too. I really think it did too.
Because as the Eagles is one of those teams who have in the past, tripped over their own foot in the draft and development of stuff. I think as we go through this Eagles team and their rookies, we've seen this story before.
Right.
Who we see the same story with?
You tell me.
A year ago, the Colts.
Yep.
Their player got took one pick before them.
One pick before,
and what they do, they put their head down. They got disturbed, but they put his head down, and he came out better than he would.
He came out better than he would have if he would have got his guy, bro. You 100% right. That's a bar right there. Way to spit that bar. So that's a fucking bar. That's exactly what happened last year. The Colts was pissed off. They didn't get their guy, and they turned that into about 3 or 4 picks in a row of dogs that came in and been impact players.
And a playoff berth.
And a playoff berth. 100% right. 100% right.
Saying that, we have not seen the Eagles really address their interior line early.
Since like season 2 that we've been talking about, that's where they needed to get better at. And they went and got the fastest defensive end in the draft, and they stayed right in their hometown in Pennsylvania, and they stayed right there and got him.
Some might call it a reach just because of overall. It might have been some better players, but when you draft, sometimes you draft on the projections.
Right.
And when you got a DN like this, Mr. Isaac, Adisa Isaac out of Penn State, so they have all the interior footage. It's the pipeline.
Pipeline, 100% pipeline.
He's definitely a top 10 pick worthy. I think it's a great pick. It might be one of their best picks that they've literally had, because just with the amount of athletes and just we have coming out in the nation and wide receivers, you can find those guys. You know what I mean? You don't always have to go wide
receiver. And the NFC East period is a lot of speed, a lot of size in that division. You need a guy like this, man. You need a guy like this to better come off the edge. 6'5", 255. He put his hand in this dirt, and he's going to be a monster pass rusher. The question is going to be, can he play well in the run game? That would be the only knock that I would have on him. How well will he be playing when them big hogs is blocking and he got to go get the ball carrier, right? And I think that he's going to be in a good situation at that, because the one thing you need to be really good at is pursuit when it comes down to chasing running backs and things like that down. And he has 92 pursuit, so I think they coach him up. He's a day one starter in my opinion. I think you put him on the field right away. And I would, I know you got Cameron Thomas here at left end already, but I would move one of these guys, you know what I'm saying, to the other side and let those guys go to work, man, as young gunners, and let them two develop together, being a year apart, and really anchor your edge rushing from.
That's a good problem to have, though.
Yes, it is, man.
You gotta bring competition in.
Listen, bro, Doolittle was in that division. Dual threat, can move around. You got Elijah Manning in that division, who can be dual threat, move around, fling it. You got to get to these quarterbacks. Sidney Cate is the dual threat quarterback in that division. You got to be able to get to the quarterback, bro, and you got to better do a really good job, and you got to better chase some of these speed quarterbacks down in that division, man. And I think they got better on the edge right there with Adisa Isaac. Again, a guy that they had more film on than any other team in the league, because he's right in their backyard. Doesn't take the scouts long that they can see more games on him than anybody else. and get to really see how he handled himself in Penn State. So I love this pick at 7.
It's definitely good to see this user like start to progress a little bit as a GM, owner wise, because this is second year in a row that they went interior alignment. They drafted Jordan Davis first round last year to D
Last year,
tackle. You
yes
know what I
sir,
mean?
yes
And
sir.
like when you're getting dominated in the trenches, like
They
you
circling the
have to start
market.
to you have to start to it's either just you have to start to pick up a little bit of this and figure some things out. You have to do some things differently. So shout out to this owner for like trying to do some different things and work some different things. I think man, it's a hell of a pick. You will come back when we come back talking about all the rookies. We'll see he was still able to address that wide receiver later,
Hmm.
with still one of the top wide receivers in the
In the
draft.
draft,
Like,
yes sir,
like if not the
yes
best, if
sir.
not the best for real. Like,
Man,
so like just
again, when you miss
man,
the player you want, you full circle around and realize you got
he
to make
forced
a.
you to
You
stick to the
either gonna
board a little
fold or you
bit,
gonna step
man.
up to the table. He
Yeah,
stepped up to the table. He got the fastest pass rusher in the draft, and then comes right back and get one of the top receivers. So I like what he did right here. Jordan Davis was a monster for him last year, holding that middle down. Now they got 3 guys that can really pass rush the quarterback right now or play in that run. Again, my only knock on Adissa is to figure out if he can absolutely play big for this team in the run game, because you got Joey Cummins coming at you all game long. You got Boom Jackson. You got Smoking Hayes in that backfield over there in the football team, and then you go in
Boom
New York. You
Jackson,
got to
very
the
nice,
house, and you
man.
got C.J. Spiller's little
Spiller
nephew
and
sitting right there. So they got some running
boy,
backs in this division. Can he play that run game as well as get to the quarterback? We shall see. I like what they did over here. This is a good move for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, family affair. The Eagles, GM and coach is related to the Bucks, and the Bucks are related to the Raiders. They're all family members. And what you saw at 8 was the Super Bowl winner comes from
man.
32 to 8 in a 3-player trade to his brother, the Raiders. And they come down to 8, and at 8 they come down and draft the fastest cornerback in the draft, one of the fastest players in the draft, and Tony Grimes. So let's go to Tampa Bay.
Man,
I'm not mad
six
at the
one
pick.
North Carolina product.
I'm not
You
mad at
got a
this pick
Burt,
because of this right here, though, Snake. You know who's getting old and long in the tooth over here, if he's
but
even
he let
still on this
Murphy Buntland
roster.
go. He let him go
Exactly. All
because he
right, so
had to
he
go
understand.
replace
Get
him.
them old heads out of here
Period.
right now, so they go. They're deep at this. They're deep at this room, but they're fast at this position. I mean, Spike Hill is 98, 99. Zach Holliday's at 98, 98. You got Alonzo Battle sitting at 95, 96. Josh Jobe, Alabama corner, 93, 93. And then they bring in Tony Grimes, 97, 97. And when you win the Super Bowl, you get upgrades and prizes on those situations. So now you're dealing with a guy that's going to have an X factor on him, and you get money now. So now this pick, what I would say is we're going to have to work on. They play a lot of man over here in Tampa Bay. They like to play man. They like to match up. They like to play match coverages. 77 man, 77 zone, Snake. Uh, you think the speed can make up for that right now until that part of him develops?
Yeah, one thing about Grimes already in North Carolina, he's out in North Carolina, man. He these last 2 years, they had some weapons out there. He'll go up against in
Right.
practice early and often. So like
Yes.
you can see quite a little bit of stuff in him. Just he's a very agile. He's 6'1", and he got a 94 jump on him. So like I don't being at that 6'1", I think he gets in and play early and often. He got a little crowded, like semi room over here, but like in the past, we known these Bucks have had cornerbacks that scare you. I don't
Right.
think that outside of Holiday, maybe he doesn't really have that guy. So they retired, they moved on from him, so he had to go get that guy. Grimes is going to be groomed to be that guy.
Right.
Um, and we'll see that definitely by the end of the season. I know we'll see big things from him. We're expecting big things from him, like a top top 10 pick. Like you on X Factor right now, he's going to be that guy over there.
All right. I agree. I do
Yeah,
think they got time. They got enough DBs in that cornerback room to be able to slow walk him. Like take your time with him. You can do two things. You can plug him in playing right away, go through the growing pains super early, or you can manage him how like the Baltimore Ravens did with Derek Stingley last year, or you can just Sauce Gardner him, put him in there with the Wolves and let him go eat. let him hunt. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see how they play him as the season goes.
And they was looking ahead of time. They looked at the schedule, said he's starting the first 5 games.
Let's go. First five of them things right away starting, man. So the Super Bowl champs get them another speed demon in the back
Hey,
and they're on the back end
dog.
in their secondary at number 8. Now number 9 is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They were sitting at number 9, but after the draft, their number 9 pick, the ninth overall pick, went from Jacksonville to Baltimore. So let's first talk about them drafting the D tackle Brian Brise from out of Clemson. Um,
Mm-mm-mm.
and then a blockbuster happened after the draft where Lamar Jackson was involved in a trade, which sent Brian Brise and Jalen Daniels, the quarterback from LSU, from Arizona to LSU, to Baltimore. And a three-player trade with Lamar Jackson involved in it. With that, the Jacksonville prepared themselves for it because what they did was they drafted Brian Brise, which was the number one defensive lineman in the draft. Period. Whether it was D tackle or defensive end, he was the absolute number one D lineman in the draft. But they picked up Byron Young at the same time. They went and got Byron Young, 6'3", 302 from out of Alabama, knowing that they were trying to work out a deal with the Baltimore Ravens and bringing Lamar Jackson in the building. For first, Nate, we talk about Brian Brise, but you got to look at the Ravens roster to see the guy. What do you think about Jacksonville? They draft Brian Brise, they pick up Byron Young a couple of rounds later, and then they start working the phones, man.
Oh man, I think they when they seen Breeze drop and them phones get to working, man. One thing we know about this Jacksonville, they got a Ravens pipeline over there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of them coaches from that coaching tree. Um, mm, Man, I guess that's gonna bring a quarterback controversy over there. Like, well, I guess it ain't no controversy.
Yeah, Lamar
He
started day
started in
one
Jacksonville.
and just motherfucking threw for about 6 touchdowns in the game against the Bengals.
Oh my
And
God!
threw 82% as a thrower. Lamar's hot, pissed off right now. He
Wow.
don't feel like he shouldn't be the starter in Baltimore. He understood, but felt like they kind of like let go of Lamar too early in the sense of sat him down and really didn't look back. Way late in the season where they were in the middle of a Super Bowl chase. And he said he verbally said Ravens cheated themselves out of the Super Bowl by not having me on the field. Um,
Well,
so he's in Jacksonville ready to go crazy over here. Like he wants to
what
show that
better
he's still who
matchup?
he is.
That's a perfect match made in heaven. And because with the state of the Jacksonville Jaguars from last year,
Hmm.
they just was going through some turmoil over there, and Mar was going through some turmoil in Ravens, man. I mean, why not bring them together and man, and watch it erupt, watch that
Right.
volcano explode? And you're telling me they exploded all over the Bengals today like that? We
Let
haven't
him
seen a
hash
game
out, boy. Oh
like
my
that from
God.
Lamar in a minute. He
And
was up and down. So man, we'll go more into that whole ordeal, but man, I mean, sheesh, that's a blockbuster. I mean, we never thought we'd see Lamar get moved,
at all, bro. It
but
was hard to do. I ain't gonna hold you. That was something that was really hard for me to do. But we feel like with Brian Breeze, we got better at the D
6'6",
tackle, younger at the D
325,
tackle.
Clemson dog.
Yeah, and we got a guy that can play either or
Mm.
D tackle or defensive end for us at any moment. This Baltimore Ravens, they love the pass rushers. They love to be deep there. With Isaiah Minter getting up there in age at 28 and Syracuse at 27, they bring in Brian Breeze to continue to pass the torch and do some things. I mean, 90 block power moves, 90 finesse moves, 92 block shed. This guy is a monster. 85 speed, 90 excel. I mean,
Not the
agile,
only
88. He
Clemson
can
product
play
them
either
Ravens got.
or. You know what I'm talking
D-line
about?
product they got.
Man,
just like we
boy,
were
what?
saying before, like them Bama cornerbacks and some of these other players, like Clemson had some dogs over there, brother.
I think
Oh
he's
my
gonna. I
gosh.
mean, Brian Breeze. I mean, they got dogs over at the D tackle and the D end spot. I think he's gonna rotate, and rotate amongst that D line, and you won't just see him at D tackle. You'll probably see him all over the D line. just feeling his way as a rookie. The good thing is, I mean, he's good enough to play for damn near any team in the league, and he's good enough to play for Baltimore at the same time. But they can take their time with this guy.
He's not
There's no
needed right
rush here
away.
at all. He's really not needed, completely needed. So they can take their time in development with him and make sure they develop him the right way, so he can really, really take over and go crazy right now. Obviously, there's going to be somebody that won't be in Baltimore uniform before it's all said and done over here. You know what I'm talking about? So then we slide from, Baltimore, sliding back in and getting that player with the three-way trade with Lamar Jackson to the Jaguars. Um, the Washington football team had the number 10th pick in this draft. Um, and they could have went in a couple different directions. In my opinion, they go get their guy, a guy that they were completely familiar with. This is a guy they played with in real draft last year. Their linebacker, especially the kid, what's his name, Jamin. What's the guy y'all drafted,
Jamin
Jamin
Davis.
something. He
Jamin
really didn't
Davis.
pan out to do much over here, at all. But they went up, and picked up a really good speedster guy that could cover, and I think that's the one thing Washington was missing with their linebackers. They needed a guy that can pure cover. This kid plays safety and linebacker, so I think you're dealing with like a Hammer Nasir Dean situation with this guy. You could do a lot with him. He's definitely a tweener. He could do some things over here. But you're getting a guy that can literally really cover the field. I mean, really take a deep dive into him.
Man,
You got a guy that really has, cover skills on 85 zone right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's get to
6'5",
it. 80
80 man,
man right now.
85 zone, 93
Catching
pursuit,
82
like
right
right
now. Like,
now.
you know what I'm saying? Like, he
82
ready to go.
press.
83 tackle, hit power 92, block sheds. You got to get a little better there. But I was strength 82. Not, I like the guy. I like this a lot. This is his nickname is the Wolverine, and we'll soon see why they call him the Wolverine. But I think this was a great pick for Washington football team because I love what they did after the draft. They made a trade as well, to give themselves an issue in that quarterback rooms too. Snake, man, they bust a move late after the draft, like with the Jets, where they went and got Jeff Sims, Georgia Tech's quarterback, in that same draft. So DeMarvion Overshawn is the guy that they brought in. He walked on the stage, and this kid literally wanted to play for his team. This was his favorite team growing up. He was always a Washington football fan, and he got to go to the team he liked. His favorite team. He got to go to that. What does that do to a player? That's living out their dream and still get to go to their favorite football team. So,
So
um,
if we just going to equate it to the NFL, like we've seen a player go to his childhood favorite team. We haven't seen him play yet this offseason. Wasn't drafted, but he got traded in it. We saw Devontae Adams get
huh.
traded to the Raiders. Now, if anybody in listeners broadcast, did y'all see Devontae Adams cheesing from ear to ear?
Ear to ear,
Like
yep.
in how he just talked about, man, look, man, this is my child, grew up, this, that, and the fourth. Like, I mean, you can't do nothing like that. That does something to a player, man. That
Man,
just like you growing up. That's just like really a childhood dream. When you really live in that childhood dream, man, it gives you an ultimate. That's like the ultimate fire. Like
make you
if you can't play under
tie your
them
cleats up tighter.
circumstances, you're not meant for this game,
No, you're
bro.
not meant
Like
for it.
this is
Tie
a
your
great
cleats up
pick.
tighter. You know what I mean? The uniform will look a little fresher to
A
you
little
because you
sharper.
wearing
You're
it
gonna have a
now.
couple
Like, you
more
know what I mean?
creases and
Like,
like
yeah, like it's time to go. Like
and
you
then
in your favorite uniform, your favorite team. I think Overshawn is going to give us a lot. I think you have the potential of looking at a guy that has a chance to win defensive rookie of the year. To be honest with you, I really feel that way about it. I think he's at the right spot, right time, right place. And he's the right type of player that can move around. I think you'll see, somewhere between 6 to 8 interceptions out of this guy. Somewhere between 4 to 5 sacks and 100 plus tackles. Man, I think they're gonna
a
let him
couple
loose
tackles for
right
loss.
away.
Like
Yeah.
it's no telling when you can see this guy. He's a Texas product. Like he's a dog.
And all the football team has been missing,
Man.
everything they got. They need a linebacker. They need a man in the middle that can hold shit down.
You need
And
that
I
real
think they
cap to
found
make
it.
sure everybody's in the right spot over there.
Hmm.
Because sometimes the football team guys just get caught out of position, looking left when
Hmm.
they should be looking right, and it's that and the fourth. So like, They looking for that real captain, and it always doesn't come in that veteran presence. We've
Yes,
seen
sir.
rookies come in and impact the league, and this could be actual perfect spot for him, man.
I agree, bro.
It's
I
a
like
great
it.
pick.
Like it a lot, man. So that was your top
Mm.
10. These guys all walked on the stage. They all shook Mrs. Goodell's hand. There was only one guy that walked on the stage in pure disappointment, and that was, Ohio State's Jackson Smith Enigma. He couldn't. It was written all over his face. I mean, the memes that they got right now to that guy on stage is classic right now, man. They got the bullseye on the gate and called it motherfucking draft gate.
And in the Packers' offense a little bit, they did throw the ball to a couple of these young guys like shit, spread the ball around a little bit, but it's like when they were there, when they was locked all the way in. So we just
Hmm.
man, it's just a lot of questions. Some teams got more questions than answers, and like
Right.
when you on the level that what I mean, when you're that guy, you want more answers than questions, and
Right.
it's just a tough situation. So we got to keep an eye on that, man, for sure.
I
But
agree. I definitely agree with you.
man,
All right,
sheesh.
so Snake, man, position by position now. Let's go to the NFL. Let's start with the position that we did not expect to go off the board the way it did in this year's draft, man. I mean,
Mhm.
the quarterback position was like we was playing our season for the first time, and everybody was looking for their guys. So we already talked about C.J. Stroud, who went to the Falcons, as the number one quarterback in the draft. You got Sean Clifford backup role. Emery Jones goes to the Saints in the second round. Um, I was confused. I ain't gonna lie, I was confused by this pick, big time. Like I don't know what the Saints was thinking and why they decided to spend a second round pick in a draft where they could have, addressed uh, so many needs. They went and picked 21, second round, Emery Jones. Did you think because quarterbacks were flying off the board, they went and got this guy? Like, but I just don't get it. You're not going to start this kid, or maybe they do. Did we see? Are we seeing something going on with Jada Styles over there in that offense? I mean,
I just
what
think
the
maybe
hell? What do
just he
you think?
got a little enamored by the speed, possibly, but second round was a bit of a reach, and he still came back and attacked it again with, later on in the draft. They drafted two quarterbacks
I
over
know.
here,
They
two
got two of
Talia
his little brother.
Tualea, and when we've had some of the better users in the league talk about Jada Styles, like we like. Not even me. I say, look, Super Bowl champ. When we talked about the Saints. He says, man, Jada Styles just does some things that just make you say like, wow, like that was
Hmm.
his exactly words. I'm with you. I don't really understand that. In the second round, I don't think in the second round having Jada Styles there with the quarterbacks that went in the first round is no way in the world I'm taking the quarterback in the second round.
Mm, mm.
But uh,
I mean, whatever floats your boat. We'll see how it makes it work,
well,
man. This guy, I don't. Who knows? He might be
because
traded.
we've
Might.
seen him
Who
develop some
knows?
players. We've seen him draft players before and develop some players into something. So I don't want to I don't want to. I ain't gonna rain on his parade just yet. I know he's not moving on from moving on to him from Jada Styles from what I've seen. But I
Right.
mean, I just gotta pay attention to it.
Yeah, I was confused by this pick. I didn't understand it whatsoever. And you don't make a pick, that high on a quarterback when you don't really have a quarterback need, unless you're creating a quarterback need and you want to move on from the guy that even made you relevant at all. The Saints aren't relevant without Jada Styles being the quarterback over there for that team. And until another quarterback can show that, um, this doesn't make sense. And if I'm Jada Styles, I'm asking questions, Snake. I'm asking a lot of questions. I want to know what the fuck are my offensive coordinator, my coach, my
From
GMs, all
Jada
that. I want to know
Styles,
what the
I
hell
want
do
to
they
pay,
want.
I want to raise, I want
Hmm.
somebody traded up out of there, and you better bring me another piece of more protection or another weapon or something to make me happy. You got two quarterbacks, you got no quarterback, and yeah, like you say, we're just a bit confused about it. Hey, folks, we know you be checking in, man. If you want, you can drop us a hint. We'll come back and see what you was talking about, what you was thinking. But I just don't know. We've seen too many quarterbacks go in the first round. It's the first time. I mean, it almost like a fantasy draft. We've seen at least five quarterbacks go in the first round, and like we just, oh man, yeah, we just. I don't know. That, that was a head scratcher. That wasn't the worst head scratcher, but
It
that was a
wasn't the
head
worst at
scratcher.
all. I
That's
mean,
up
they
there.
even followed that
That's
up and
up
got
there.
Tagovailoa, and at least they won on a superstar, and they got him late. Now, if this was the only
Uh-huh.
pick at quarterback position for them, I would be praising this right now. But they
Right.
got three quarterbacks over there, and I definitely know this team had bigger needs than just quarterbacks right now. Another quarterback that went to a spot that wasn't really needed was Bryce Young. Minnesota drafted the best available player. And in their instance, they drafted a guy that they didn't need because they already had two quarterbacks, possibly three already on that roster already. But they get one of the best quarterbacks in the draft, and it just sucks because, if he doesn't get traded and go somewhere where he can be a starter day one, we're looking at a guy that possibly could be one. To me, could probably possibly have a Hall of Fame career. Going to have a slow start to his career because I can't see how they're gonna, what they're gonna do with this.
Graveyard spot, man. He will not. My prediction is he will not play it down in Minnesota. Um, he'll be
So do
traded,
they
or
get him out of there in a hurry? Like
he's on.
why
We heard
did they
early in
make
off
this
he's on the
pick?
block.
He's on the
Um,
block already.
we heard early he was on the block, man. I believe this team was looking for some linebackers, fast linebackers, or tight end, I believe, or something. But we heard Bryce Young was definitely on the block over here. Uh, for you guys that like to, he didn't set his draft board, but for you guys that like to let the computer make your picks, and we're not putting him in this category, he just missed the draft today. This is a possibility of what can happen.
Yeah,
You
because the
gotta
computer's gonna pick the highest rated player.
rate it.
Period. Not
Yep.
the highest overall, the highest rated player that was on the board before we even start touching these players. No homo. So
Yeah. So
if he was ranked first round, pick six, and you got him at 13, he was a steal. They're gonna pick him.
mhm.
Period. No matter if your board said or not, they're picking that guy. And that's what happened. So in this situation, again, we can't kill the Vikings at all because he couldn't control that. But you know, in a way you
This
do because you
Hollywood
got all
head
year
killer.
to fucking do your draft board and all that shit. Like you got all year to be able to set the boards up and scout guys and look at what you want. And you could have avoided this, but you didn't. So I mean, they can turn this into a winner though, because this is a guy that if I need a
Right,
quarterback, I'm
man.
getting him.
X Factor.
He already
It's an X
unlocked
Factor
X Factor
quarterback, man.
already. I mean, he's a Heisman Trophy winner, man. We don't want to see this
And
guy die. So
we
please
all
make
know that
sure
he
he
could
go
be
to
the
somebody.
very well be the first. Like we said, this real draft for y'all that's tuned in. This real draft. So this is a lot of these players will be in next year's NFL draft. So when he
Hmm.
says the highest rated player, we already know that hypothetically nothing crazy happened. Bryce Young's gonna be the first or second pick next year in the draft.
Yep,
You know what I'm
flat
saying?
out.
So at pick 14, he was the highest rated player. And it just sucks that he went over here to this graveyard. You need a quarterback. Hit these Vikings up. Get on the phone lines, man. Man,
Answer this
it's
question: if
got to
they
be a
can't get
spot for
nothing
him.
done, do they keep him and play him?
Oh, I mean, he's 2 years younger than his current quarterback and almost the same overall. What within four
Right.
points? Like, and I'm sure he'll go up a point at advance. I think you have to consider that. As if Evans hasn't taken you, I mean, maybe he can sit him and if Evans doesn't do his thing this year, he can still train. If Evans doesn't take that step, maybe instead of paying Evans that hefty contract, maybe he goes with Bryce Young.
Right.
You know, damn, this boy guy has three X Factor quarterbacks
I'm
under
definitely picking up the
25 on his
phone
roster.
and seeing what's going on out there. You heard though?
Exactly.
I'm picking up the phone to see what's going on out there, but I'm not worried if I can't trade him. If I'm the fucking Minnesota Vikings, you have nothing to lose by starting this kid and and moving on from the other quarterback. Like I think he's better right now than the quarterback that y'all drafted a couple years ago. Even though you seen record stuff happen again in some games where you done threw 10 touchdowns to one receiver in a game. We've seen things like that happen over there with him, but it hasn't equated in anything besides stats.
Stats, man.
So you want a guy that's a winner? Bryce Young is exactly that. He's a winner. His guy can change the program for you, and start to bring a winning tradition in a building, man. He's a really good kid. I think he deserves to have a shot at a chance to be able to become a starter in his league, whether it's for Minnesota or another team. All right, so
He'll
the next
definitely be
quarterback.
in my top
Yes,
six
sir.
training, but like you got three X factor quarterbacks under the age of 25 on his roster.
Jesus Christ, Spencer Rattler's here, backup
Oh
right now.
gosh.
I think this is a good pick for the Texans because you are playing Kenny Pickett, and you just went and got yourself another guy that before he transferred to South Carolina, he was his first year as a full time starter. He came back as a guy that was supposedly supposed to be a Heisman winner.
Absolutely.
And then things went sour when Khalid Williams got there, the kid from out of D.C., out of your hometown,
Yes,
Snake.
sir.
That kid got out there to
Oh,
Oklahoma and shut all that shit down. But don't get it
this
twisted. Spencer Rattler can play, and I think
absolutely.
sitting behind Kenny Pickett, he should sit and learn everything possible, but don't sit back and think that you're a guy sitting behind a veteran quarterback. You absolutely chance that we might see Spencer Rattler as starting quarterback out here eventually.
Push Kenny Pickett for this job. Like
Man,
Kenny Rattler hit that transfer portal. For y'all that don't know, he's going to South Carolina.
hmm
And I mean, like it's not a throw that Rattler can't make, you
at
know.
all.
So this is a great pick. This he picked him down in the fifth round. So you bring him in right away as a backup. It might not
Cheap
be
as
to
hell.
immediately compete for the starting job, but to push
Uh
that
huh.
starter and to see if you can get small hands Kenny Pickett to do a little bit more.
All
I
right.
believe that if Pickett don't do what he's supposed to do, Rattler can definitely open that offense up a little bit more. But I don't think it's no rush over here because we have a new owner, so time will be given for the owner and the coach over here to handle it. Play give Pickett some play. I don't think Pickett has no pressure on him like that right now,
Uh
but
huh.
it can be there. That fire can get lit real quick
Real
over here.
fast. I like it again, like you said, two young
Great pick
quarterbacks.
though.
One coming off of his rookie year, and then another one coming into the NFL for the first time. Their distance is not real distance between them. You're not dealing with a veteran ready to pass the torch. You're dealing with a guy that hasn't even started his career as the starting quarterback over here. And if things aren't going right, Spencer has the opportunity to play and end up being a starter over here. So I like that pick for sure, especially getting him in the fifth round. Jeff Sims
As opposed to the
was
second.
drafted by the Jets and traded in a four-player trade to the
Right.
football team. And my question is, you send that many players over to a guy to get this guy. You had your eye on this guy before, for a while. Like you had your eye on this guy, you went and got your guy because you couldn't get him, so you still went and got him. The question is, does he start? Doolittle got the first start against that same Jet team that traded him to him, and got the dub and played a really good game. I like this Jeff Sims situation. I do not believe in GDK over there, and Doolittle has always been a guy that start off hot and then tap out. Um, I like Jeff Sims. I think he can do a little bit of everything over here for this team. And he can get them a new spark. What they got, the one thing they have is a bunch of weapons everywhere. They can do so much stuff, especially with this type of quarterback. And I just think if Doolittle doesn't do something special to get you over that hump this year, then Jeff Sims is to me will be the next guy to be groomed as a starter in Washington. How do you like them to go get this type of quarterback? He's a top quarterback, one of the top quarterbacks in this draft.
You don't give up that type of capital for a player unless you absolutely see the talent,
Right.
and that's one thing we know that Sims has is that talent.
hmm
Like you say, Doolittle's been up and down. GDK never panned out, and did nothing that we exactly expected to see. But even now, Doolittle's getting a little. He's 28, so
Right.
you can bring Sims along and slow walk him and develop him. Like in competition, you bring that competition in and see who comes out that what Phoenix rise from the ashes. So
Man.
I mean, like I think this is actually a perfect situation where he's not in a rush,
hmm
but he can also, give you that competition in that room and actually have a chance to compete for that starting job because he brings an aspect of things that these other quarterbacks on the roster have not been able to do, and we know some of the things this coach wants actually would like to try to do. to get done over there. So it's actually a great situation for him. Like
I think though, no matter how it goes, whether he end up being a player that starts this year or a guy that redshirts this year, eventually we're going to see Jeff Sims.
absolutely.
All right, this next pick kind of like took the draft. All right, now we talked about, this could be a destination for him, or a dog quarterback. Trey Lance hasn't really panned out, Snake, at all. Trey Lance had one good season, that was his rookie year. Outside of that, he's done nothing more than a steam and beam man or Sidney Cake has done for the Falcons. He's thrown more interceptions than touchdowns his entire career. So the experiment with that kid over there and 49er Nation, to me, is over, and he doesn't see the field anymore. I think the guy that's going to start ASAP right now, we know for a fact, is the starting quarterback now for the 49ers. And he already played his game. You see the arrows down. They lost to the Giants. But he's on the field. AR-15, man. And he pitched a 6 on him, so now we can't even call him that.
Man,
But this is Cam Newton, faster Cam Newton.
Definitely. Definitely a little faster, Cam Newton. He got that big frame, 6'4", 236, like from Florida, man. We knew that they would go quarterback in this draft, and they did it early. I think that the run on quarterbacks. I believe he picked 17 in round one. He didn't have quite the debut that we'd like to see. He one touchdown, 6 interceptions. But,
you cannot do that to your quarterback, bro. Especially when you got a run game over there and you got 15 tight ends on the roster. There's no way you can come out there and allow this type of kid, who has all the potential to be a flat-out superstar in this league, come stink the place up week one. It's gonna be so hard to get him under control, and I don't think to get him under control is you just let him play trial by fire and throw picks until he start to get it right, or you're gonna be dealing with another Trey Lance situation. You need to clean your fucking offense up. You literally need to start protecting your quarterback and being a little bit more of a game manager instead of a 50-50 ball guy all game long. Because when that shit start happening, then you got a guy that we're going to look at as one of the most exciting guys in the draft that we wanted to see go somewhere and be a fucking monster in this league. It's going to be at a fucking graveyard spot, and you're too good of a player to have graveyard players, period. So tone that shit down. We should never see another 6-pick interception. This is the same shit you've been doing. Sooner or later, you're going to start realizing it ain't the player, it's you.
Threw 6 interceptions with Richardson. At least you had the brains to take him out and sit him down finally, and threw 4 more picks with Trey Lance. Man,
should be ridiculous. You just sent the entire fucking Giants defense to the Pro Bowl. 10 picks. Like, what are we doing here, man?
We saw this story last year with the Vikings. He had 2 players go to the Pro Bowl off one game versus the Packers. 6 picks, 4 picks by 2 players. Burying the $200 million man, right? By 2 players, right?
Right.
I think a lot of the league, overall, some teams in the league got excited for this pick, this quarterback, this union of this quarterback with this team. It seemed like a match in heaven.
Don't fuck it up, bro. Don't fuck that match in heaven up.
Snatched a couple of rookie tight ends, so they went with the protection and weapons, and we already know they got some other dogs over there. This is just not the outing that we wanted to see in this first game. I think it was this was, some of the league was really excited. It was that's a great pick for him. It was time. It was called before the draft. And they went on and got their guy immediately because we seen a run on quarterbacks early.
To me, you got Stroud, you got Bryce Young. This was the guy. This was the most exciting. I mean, this was the quarterback that made guys want to get rid of their quarterback. Like, man, fuck that.
Yeah.
And don't do this to this man. Look, man. Do not do this to this kid. Do not fuck his career up before it even start. Get back to the drawing board. Chalk that game up as a coaching error and not his. And find a way to groom this guy. You play him now. You can't sit him down. Start him. But you got to play a little bit more smarter football, man. Whether it's you handing the ball off a little bit more, using the tight ends in the passing game, checking down. You know what I'm saying? Like, just cause we call him the rifle don't mean you gotta start throwing bullets and shit all over the field. Cause you're throwing to the wrong team. 10 interceptions as a team tells me one thing. It ain't the weapon you got, it's you. And I'm dead ass serious, Drew. You too good for this shit. Don't have this kid fucked up, or do me a favor, trade him to somebody that'll have him, you know, putting in work, and get the house when you trade him, because it ain't nobody in the league that wouldn't that wanted this guy that wouldn't give you whatever the hell you want for him. But don't do that to him. You got a good run game over there already. You got some really good tight ends over there already. Use your weapons. Your receivers are dogs. You got everything you need. You got a strong defense over there. Please do something, man. Go back to the drawing board, figure it out, and don't give us another one of these games right now. We already say the NFC West, even with Kyler Murray over there, are the most throwing interception teams in the league.
Yeah, man.
Change that narrative. Seriously, change that narrative. All right. Leves is not going to be a starter. He's on the Vikings team. Enough said. But DJ Ugalele is another first round talent that went in the first round, and he's in Bronco Nation right now with Kellen Mond over there, who has been a playoff guy and has lost two back-to-back Super Bowls and in a playoff run. I think DJ Ugalele will be the new starter in Denver, bro. In my opinion.
Man, I for a team that doesn't like to pick, that doesn't draft, and man, I think this is the perfect situation for DJ.
Got enough
Man,
speed to get
I
around, and he's
yeah,
6'5", and he got a fucking rifle and can make every throw.
yeah. He make every throw. He got a stronger arm than Calamon. I don't even know if the Broncos expecting Calamon to pan out the way he did, but
Hmm.
at some point, as an organization, you get satisfied where you made it to, but you got to make that. You can't get satisfied where you've gone, but you got to do something to make that next step.
Hmm.
And I believe DJ can take him there. Man, it's a great pick.
I
Another
love this
first
pick,
round
bro.
quarterback that we've seen.
I think we see him starting before, by the time week 8 get here, DJ will be the starter in Denver, in my opinion.
Round one, pick 28. I mean, I like the pick, man.
Big time.
Lamont is 30, and yeah, this is a great pick.
This is how you can make it happen. Somebody land in your lap like this, you make it work. Simple as that. And the
And it's
one thing the
definitely not a
Broncos is going
graveyard
to do,
spot.
yes, no, not graveyard spot at all. This could be this could be the best rookie quarterback we see this year.
Definitely,
Flat
definitely.
out, best rookie quarterback we see this year. Because the rest of these guys that got them dogs, they gonna throw picks all game long. Um, expect these rookie quarterbacks to be sending a lot of players to the Pro Bowl this year. And DJ
Hmm.
Ugalele is not one of them. Guaranteed. Love that pick. The next quarterback, Jaden Daniels, was drafted by the Jaguars, was traded in that multiple trade with the Ravens, and he will now be a
A
backup
real
quarterback
backup.
to the young Anthony Iverson. I think this is perfect for Jaden Daniels. I thought Jaden Daniels, early on, he started as a true freshman in Arizona for Coach Herm Edwards over there, right? And Arizona State, he was a dog. His rookie year, freshman year as Arizona State dog. They lost some of them receivers, Brandon Ayuk. There was another kid they had over there. They were loaded at the receiver position. It started to fall apart. Things happened over there. They've been on some type of probation and shit as a team. Edwards better get it together over there. And things were looking up. They started getting recruits and all that. And then, yeah, here he is transferred to LSU and had a great year. I think he could potentially be a starter in this league. But he's in a situation where Baltimore is completely all in on their young stud quarterback Anthony Iverson. So he'll learn and develop and play the backup role. The one thing he will better do is run that offense at 91 speed, 91 excel, 96 throw power. This kid can play. Um, but again, he'll be on the bench, and sometimes there's nothing wrong with a guy developing, and maybe he get a shot somewhere else, but to me, I like this. They needed a backup once they traded Lamar. They needed another backup quarterback to come in. Injuries are on. Anything can happen, man. You got to have, two guys at least at that spot. So that's the quarterback position. The running back position is a little weird. Snake will do the running backs and then stop right there. Unless you want to talk about the receivers, because you had a hell of a receiver draft, bro. I don't know if I want to hop right off without talking about them Cowboys and how you always sneaking some shit in there, or always got a detour plan, or you hit your targets head on, and then you clean up. You know what I'm saying? You clean up with the motherfucking, you know, sniper shots from a distance. And let me get that. Let me get that too. Heads off.
Yeah.
All right, we're looking at some running backs that to me, I don't know if Tank Bigsby goes in Indianapolis and start. He might can play, but they kind of loaded that running back over there. The 49ers pick
He
up
a
a really
dog.
good sneaky running back right here in Cincy Marshall from Jackson State. He's an agile guy that can catch the ball out the backfield. So we'll see because they got Roger Craig the second over there, and they already had the boy I used to call Baby Reggie Bush still there. So we'll see how that plays
Yeah.
out over there. Rodriguez won't start, neither will he. Jarvis Whitlow will be another roster filler, more special teams than anything. However, I like Zach Evans and Kansas City. This kid was one of the best running backs coming out of high school. One of the best running backs. You know, he ended up going to TCU and transferred out to Ole Miss.
Transfer. Yep.
And we're gonna see, you know, you'll see him this year in real life at Ole Miss, balling out for what's that guy's name over there that got Ole Miss right now? Lane Kiffin. You know, see him
Kiffin.
ball out for Mr. Lane Kiffin, guaranteed. They got them a dog in the backfield, man. One of those kids from Texas. You know, he's a good running back. And I like this at the Chiefs. I think they needed a guy like this, that they can really rely on. He should be a day one starter over there. Um, and get going. So as you can see, I missed some things on him. You're looking at the trucking is not supposed to be that. That shit should be somewhere between 88 and 90. So that overall gonna go up even higher because that trucking gonna go up. You know, editing the draft class, sometimes I miss shit. Naquan Wright, another running back over there for the Panthers. You know, they run a football, so they always gonna find a way to draft a running back. But you know, he's a good running back, but I don't see him playing for them right now. I think he'll be a kick returner, punt returner type guy, special teams. That about it. Kendall Milton from Georgia, though, 6'1", 220 power back. Love this pick. Danger Griffin is the little scat back, the elusive guy, speed kills, and can shake you out the draws. Where this kid gets to the red zone, where they struggled at, and throughout the playoffs in the red zone, this team struggled. Putting points on the board, but you give a guy like this the ball, he can fall forward for them 4 yards. I like this 1-2 punch right now. I think Kendall Milton will play a lot this year for the Buffalo Bills, and this is all Buffalo Bills doing it again, bro. They know what they doing, bro. Simple as that. There's not too many GMs that's in the league moving better than what Hoodie is doing over there
My
with that
player of
Buffalo
the year
Bills team.
last year, and each
Hmm
year we see this Buffalo Bills team take steps to bringing them players in, to bringing them to his form, and then what happened is he got to the playoffs and seeing them playoffs. Sometimes it's a different game. We have
Yeah.
never, I don't think we've seen the Bills have a 12-6 game. You look on his roster, the one place they're missing that, yeah, you got danger to speed, but you don't have a running back on your roster that can actually control the rock.
Right.
And that's what this Milton kid can do. You got that fall forward back, them small backs can get hit and punished and fumble, or everything's not just it can't just be shot and cross and this that, and forth. You gotta have. We've seen what we've seen the Cardinals do. The Cardinals, as good of a passer as he is, he ain't win four Super Bowls by just coming out there and airing everybody out.
Hmm
He totally changed his game from playoff time, and he become one of the best runners ASAP, and
hmm
have a running back up there top dog at ASAP. So
Got away with that shit
this,
because you so
yeah,
scared of his passing game. You know what I'm saying? You don't do shit to prepare for that run game, and he killed you. To the fact where that you got guys playing his way of play. I've seen the Bills spread you out, check
man,
back down to a run formation with five wides and a running back on the field. I've seen the Giants literally run themselves to a Super Bowl with that system. So it works, but you need two backs. In my opinion, I think when you got a small back like a Danger Griffin, who's really the tweener guy that can do everything for you, catch the ball at the backfield. He's the number one running back. But Kendall Milton can get you 4 to 5 yards a pop when you need to better put a 12-play drive together to ice the game, or you get in the red zone
keep
and
it
you need
moving
guaranteed
on.
points.
Did that
Simple
tell
as
you?
that.
It's a
All right,
great pick, and we
I
definitely
love
rate it.
Don Chaney Jr., but the problem is he plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In my opinion, graveyard spot. And not because the Bucks can't run a football and get a good running back with good speed like this and make things happen. Two things are in the way of this guy ever being good for them. This is I'm picking him because I can. Right, 5'10", 210. This kid will never be able to put the freight train on him. That means he'll never be no good for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers unless they're going to just throw the ball to him out the backfield. As a receiver, I don't see him doing anything. And if you do need a running back and you don't care about that 210 or being a freight train, so you can catch fire and lean forward on guys all game long. You need to come get this guy because he can do some things. He's a dog from out of Miami. I like this running back. I like him a lot. But I just think the Buccaneers, they love Henry Ruggs' little cousin over there, and Jaleel. And it's his show, bro. He's a Super Bowl champ. He's the reason why the Bucks, pretty much are Super Bowl champs to this day. And at the end of the day, there's not too many backs that can come in on this team and take carries away from him, and that's just period. So I don't really see anything happening here. I call this a graveyard spot because of not because the guy is somebody that the players die when you go there. It's just he won't use this kid because he ain't gonna need to.
I halfway disagree with the caveat.
Okay.
I don't disagree that Jaleel Rose is the guy over there. And I'm not even, and I say with the caveat because we've seen this team go through a stretch without Ruggs, and they kind of like was a little bit lost. So let's see. This guy's he's newer to the league, so he's kind of picked up kind of fast. I don't know if it'll be Cheney, but I definitely look for him to develop another running back this year over there.
And that running back is already sitting on his roster already. That's why and when you develop, here's the thing. It's the difference between developing a guy and going through the struggle of it, or you already got a guy that you ain't got to worry about because you got the superstar or X factor on that guy already. So you're not going to spend the time trying to develop a guy like Cheney who's the star, right? And you got to work him and get breakout messages and work him, and he's not going to get the time to do all that shit. So to me, that's why he's a graveyard. He's at a graveyard.
You right.
I'm just drafting speed here, and I'm looking for a better player to pick up. And I seen this kid, and this is what I'm getting. And boom, good shit. 84 overall, 95 speed, 95 excel. Even got 84 break tackle on trucking. But guess what? He doesn't have a superstar on him or an X factor on him, so he's never going to be a problem for anybody or even for him. Period. Punt returner, kick returner. Love him there. He can make a career out of it there, for sure. Another running back goes to the Saints. He got good speed though, 95 out of Texas A&M, man, 5'10", 190. The problem is they got a crowded backfield now. I don't know if they're going to use, if they're going to go to a new quarterback because he said he wants a mobile quarterback, a guy that roll out and can run on a rollout. I would think that you bring in a guy like Emery Jones, you need to bring in, you need your run game to work for you. So they do got at least 3 backs over there already. 2 backs over there already that we know about. So this will be the third one.
Earl Peppers.
Right.
We got Tarion Davis Price. This is stash and pick.
I think you're just picking up, all right, I'm looking for the next best available player right now, and I'm just going to snag this. And then, in my opinion, I would probably, in those moments, fuck a running back. I'm getting a D lineman. I'm getting, maybe an offensive lineman. So much stuff you could have did. Same thing with Sean Shivers. This was a pickup for the Cardinals that, again, I don't think they need them. I'm like, burning fucking, oh my God, I'm starting a motherfucking fire with this bitch. Jesus. But I don't think they need him, right? But what I will tell you is they played with him. They played with this type of player before.
5'5", short, 185. Oh my God.
This their guy. You know what I mean? He drafted this kid before. And he tried to get jiggy with him too. Damn. Boy almost burnt the fuck out of this floor. Thank God I saw that. Yeah, so, but another backfield that's crowded. So, I don't know if they're going to try to manage something out of him to get a trade off with him or what. But Snake, he's not going to play for them. They had a guy that just showed up out of nowhere in one playoff game last year against the Saints and went crazy. Another Miami back, right? And they can do that. But I don't know what they're going to do with Sean Shivers. Special teams guy, maybe. Punt return, kick returner. Until they feel like they want to see value or find value in this guy, I don't really see too much happening here. This is just another late pickup. Until he get
called out on the show halfway through the season.
Yeah. Or somebody start talking shit to him and he decide he want to go, you know what I mean? He ready to do some shit, you know what I mean?
Do some funky,
yeah, so. All right. The next back, Devin Ford, Penn State, my guy, went to the football team. Another running back over here. They're starting to collect running backs. What's going on?
Drafting running back
luxury
every
pick,
year, man. Just like
is this a habit or a luxury pick, though, Snake?
I mean, it's a luxury pick at that stage.
I
It's a
call it a
luxury pick.
habit, my nigga. I call
It's
it.
a
He
habit
knew. Yeah.
luxury at this stage. Like, I mean, it was round 6, pick 10, so it's just, I guess a habit. You could call it a habit. He just liked to grab a running back as well. We just like new toys, but at least it wasn't early. It's round 6, so I can't kill him. He does. The football team does pick a running back every year, though.
Here's my thing
But
though. I like this kid with 85 break
94,
tackles.
94 though.
But look, 85 ball vision, 85 break tackle, 85 truck and catch the ball out the backfield. I mean, this is a legit running back on star, 200 pounds. You could do some things with him. And he's not bad catching the ball. Got to get a little bit better at medium route running, but everything else is there.
90 spin, 94 G, 80 stiff
He can
off,
play.
85 truck.
The problem is they still haven't got Boom Jackson going, so I don't think they can waste time
Right.
trying to get this guy on the field and nothing like that. He'll redshirt this year. He'll play punt returner, kick returner along with the running back they got from Notre Dame last year. So crowded backfield, but the running game goes through those two monsters they got. And we're still waiting to see Boom Jackson step up and really be the back that we don't want what happened to McCoy. What's that McCoy over there? We don't want what happened to him in Atlanta to happen to Boom Jackson. And if he doesn't have close to a 2,000-yard season this year with 20-plus touchdowns, then we're looking at another McCoy, Deion McCoy, whatever that guy's name is over there. That really, he did get it going late with him, but he missed that window of his dominance, and that's what I'm afraid Boom's gonna happen with Boom Jackson.
One of the most biggest disappointments to me, but we'll talk about that in another show, man.
But you know what? You're not lying though. That's facts. Deion McCoy came in the same way Boom Jackson came in as, oh my God, with the way this game is and the running backs that can just fall and lean on you, and the way this game, because you can have a fucking 400-pound D tackle hit a running back in the backfield and he still gets 6 yards.
10 yards, bro. Like, go to Deion McCoy on your screen. They got a running back over there too, and B. John Robinson. Like that was drafted by the Falcons, and this was one of the most, like, wow, really, this is a second round pick over there. This is probably the top.
They picked this guy one pick before me, and I got my guy. I got Jamari Gibbs, but believe me, if he didn't pick him, I'm not letting B. John Robinson is one of the best running backs, and B. John Robinson will be the best running back in this year's draft in real life right now.
We don't
He's that good.
Often running backs go in the first round. He will be in the first round.
Definitely going in the first round.
Like,
and no ifs, ands, or buts. And then I think top 15 type first round
yes,
too. Not even later on at the end of the round. We talking about within that top 10 to 15 picks he goes. But Deion McCoy, look, man, that's just just call it what it is. This was 6'2", 240. This was supposed to be the next Derrick Henry. We were supposed to see a guy, that literally dominated the league, and where, you got to think about it. Casey Fields came out the same year as him. Your boy came out Cummins the same year as him. You know what I mean? But think about it. When Casey Fields, exactly,
running back in the same breath
as a Casey Fields and a Joey Cummins.
Even a second tier running backs in the league. Like, I don't like it. He just wasn't talked about at all. Like, and he just 6'2", 240. This was a game, like, this running back at least 1 year should have had a year where he, man, got you over that hump. Like, he can't.
Put it this way: this running back could have stopped, could have saved Sidney Cake's career as a Falcon and Steven Beam's career as a Falcon. You look at his numbers.
Another part of that go into this team not really developing their interest. See, this is another show, but this never really taking advantage of some of them high picks or one way or another and developing that interior as well. Like, you just look at his numbers.
This team has been a top 10 pick every year, damn near, bro.
Every year, like.
You got Mayford from last year's draft, perfect, 93 overall. This is what it's supposed to look like. You got a nice little left tackle there. You got a non-ability 95 overall 32-year-old. Behind him, you got another 32-year-old. At center, you got a 28-year-old, 27-year-old, and Captain Morgan with no abilities. At right guard, you starting to get Walker Little, 30 years old. Behind him, nobody besides Cade Mormon, 25 years old. So, like, you have some lineman pieces now, but when you needed it,
But
it
when you
wasn't
got
there.
when you yeah they weren't there. But I mean you look at him, Walker Little, you 30 years old, he's 93 with the arrows going up. But he's a 90 or 91. Like you're getting that just over 90 threshold. Like it's no dogs on your offensive line at all to really help you get that extra yard or two, and just give your running back a chance to get going a little bit to fall. Like this is like one of the most disappointing players, and for me personally, and as a runner, I consider myself one of the better runners. But this is one of the more disappointing. Like look what I did with Cummings. Imagine what I would have did. I mean, imagine what, imagine what you would have seen the Patriots or the Bucks or man, imagine what you would have seen the Panthers do with this running back, like
Or me,
or the
or you know
Raiders,
what I
like
mean?
and just because they would have force fed him. Like I would have liked to see more from this guy right here. So I just Falcons, do me a favor, man. Do not do the same thing with Robinson. Let's try to learn from some of these mistakes. Like we've seen some teams this year, like
He got to
and
start
take some
Robinson day
turns.
one too, bro, and he
You
got to
have to
make sure he's
start him,
fresh out the
bro.
gate. Um,
You got to,
I'm not, I'm
man.
not,
Like,
I'm not. Listen, if I'm the Falcons, man, I'm giving him 25, 30 carries a game, and it is what it is. 30, 25, 30 is my mark every time, bro. Because what happens is now you're not throwing 6 picks a game, 5 picks a game, 4 picks a game. You're running the ball a little bit more, opens your passing game up that much more. And he has really good concepts when he passes the ball. He understands how to, level guys and put them in situations and, and call plays at that too. He's really good at those things, but it doesn't add up because, you don't have the right pieces in your interior to really, let things happen. Guys start teeing off and momentum happens and you start to lose the way. I would love to see B. John Robinson as a starter at least here and get him going now. Like don't we can't have the same type of start you had with Deion McCoy with B. John Robinson. When he unlocks to an X factor. Only X factor running back in the draft. Simple as that. Let him get
that's
work.
another thing. McCoy never even got the X factor,
Mm-mm.
so like he should be there. Like so in saying this, I like the pick and pairing this guy up and pairing Robinson, bringing him in with C.J. Stroud. You know what I mean? Of course, I mean I like Robinson and Stroud connection, bringing them in, letting them grow together. But I'm just worried about. I'm worried about the system, man. So I just I hope this team takes a little bit different approach than they did because like man, we didn't see nothing from McCoy that we would expect to see, man. When we talk about the backs, some of the great backs in this league, like I mean, we're not we talking about Israel, Ruggs,
Mm-hmm.
even the ETN. You throw Fields. I'm gonna throw Cummins. Like he's not even in the second tier. We're not even talking about if we're talking about like Streets or Bass, and it's just like they haven't had like it's just he's not even in the second tier running backs. He might not even be in the third tier running backs that we talk about. I mean, well maybe he is just off pure talent, and that's just because talent alone, not because of his production though. So
Mm-hmm.
like man, it's the best running back in the draft. Complete back, can do everything. He's right now. He comes in ready as an 89, 88, or a true 88 overall on X Factor, 6 foot
Mm-hmm.
225, Texas. So I just man, like man, I'm worried about this pick as well. Just one of those head scratches for me, like the wide receiver situation. I just hope he can. This might even be worse than that to me.
I mean, B. John Robinson's a monster, bro. He's an animal, and like he should. To be honest with you, he should be the best running back in this draft class
He,
this year. Like he should be the best running back
he
in this
should be
draft
in
class
running
this
for
year,
rookie of the year. Actually,
flat out,
you can't
no
make this
issues.
pick and without committing to basically. I hope you didn't make this pick without knowing that you have to commit 25, 30 carries a game to him immediately.
Yeah, I don't
So
see it. I hope he do it. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens over there. The next back was the number 2 back in the draft, and Jamar Gibbs, the speedster, 96
mm,
96SL superstar out there in Baltimore. Now,
one pick
this is
later.
interesting here because they did have C.J. Verdell last year. They drafted right, but solely to be a punt returner, kick returner. This kid's gonna play. Obviously, Casey Field gave him his number. He gave him the number 1. Um, Casey Fields, 27 years old. You already know Baltimore has something in the works. They got the Casey Fields and JC Field brother tandem in the backfield with Jamari Gibbs. Jamari Gibbs will touch the ball 15 times a game before it's all said and done as a rookie, and he won't even be a starter for this team. Um, but
Wow.
but the chance of being a starter for this team is right there. And if he works out and it pans out the way I'm looking at it panning out, Casey Fields will be in another uniform before it's all said and done.
Man, we done
There's your
seen
running
some
back, Snake.
backs.
Got
That's
some good
tough.
ones. Got some good ones in this draft. Really got some good ones. I like this. I like here though. I like Zach Evans. I want to see what Tata do with him. I like.
Who do we? What system do we see? What running back stepping out the most? We're not gonna talk
I,
about yourself. And
honestly, bro, out of these running backs right now, we're looking at the most right now. I'm gonna be real with you. You can't talk about. I mean, we ain't talk about John Emery. Oh my God, I love John Emery Jr. too, LSU. But they had, the kid from last year from HBCU. Camden Man's getting up there in age, so they still got a two-headed monster with Martin and him. So I think he'll play a lot. But to be real, I think the best running back we're going to see this year out of these rookies is right
might
here,
be Jameer.
Jahmyr Gibbs.
It might be. You might got to talk about the Raiders. I was trying to say
Almost
you
motherfucker set
just
a
not
fire.
talk. Hey, look, when we doing these Jones, sometimes we try not to go on our teams and talk about our teams as well. But like, I mean, it really might be almost by default. Period. Like it just automatic, right?
Yeah, I, I'm nah. I start smelling it. But look, Snake, I'm gonna tell you like this, bro. We wanted this guy. Like it was like this. What it was. We wanted this guy bad. We set our mind. We made sure we can move up in that second round and better get to this guy. We knew he wouldn't be a first round pick, right? But
Yeah,
when
we heard the
when our pick was
rumblings.
coming up, B. John Robinson was sitting there. So now it's like, fuck that.
Damn,
B. John
really?
Robinson sitting right there. Are we gonna get B. John Robinson or him? And then the Falcons took B. John Robinson, and I was like,
Pick
well,
before you, bro.
one pick before me. And I'm like, well, I get my guy still. But if he don't pick B. John Robinson, we might not even see my guy sitting in Baltimore uniform right now. I would have had to go with B. John, bro. I'm sorry. He's that good. You feel me? But and I'm gonna tell you like this: Jamari Gibbs is going to be the best rookie running back in the AFC this year, for sure. Out of this group, and he might even be the best rookie running back in the league this year. Out of this group. Because we're high on him. I mean, he's already done showed us stuff in preseason that we were just like, oh my God, like he ready. Come on, man. A Hall of Fame running back gave his number up. That's how good this kid is.
Man, coming on a true 88 and 96, 96, like,
Hmm.
damn, with a 98 agility, a 96 change of direction, like,
You understand that? That's like silky
man, I gotta
smooth.
challenge the Falcons, man. Hey, Falcons, man. Hey, if you DC, hey, coach, man, I'm challenging you, bro. Man, I need to see you put Robinson to work, man. Like for real, bro.
Or
I
send him to
like,
you. Send some of them linemen over there, twin.
and I don't even want them. I'm not even saying this because I want them, because I'm great at running back. I don't even want them. But I'll take them. But I don't even want
Right.
them. This is not a thing that I even want them, bro. Like, man, you got. I just want to see, man. Get this guy at least 20 carries a game. Give him 25 carries a game, man. Commit to that, man, and you're gonna see your record be a little bit better this year. You'll
His
be a little
record
more
improves
competitive.
if he
Like,
commits to B. John Robinson 25, 30 carries a game. His record improves. His quarterback
you're gonna
play
cut your
improves.
turnovers down.
All that.
Your rookie quarterback, C.J. Stroud, is not gonna be looking like the 49ers quarterback
Uh-uh.
that we just saw his rookie right now. Like once you get them red arrows down, for y'all that don't understand the morale of this game, I just was talking with another user at the end of last season, letting them understand the morale and how your team boosts and stuff with the green
Man.
arrows up, red arrows down. Once you get them red arrows down, like you can have 2 or 3 games and still good games after that and still have them red arrows down. Like you don't want to
Man.
get your rookie quarterback like that. The best friend, all right, one thing you're good at, and we've seen that. I give you props for coach for is doing some stuff with that tight end. You bought in another dog tight end last year. That's the best. So running the ball on that tight end can be your best friend for your quarterback. Just man, dump it down to him. Like give this guy the ball. Commit to 20 to 25 touches. Period. With this running back, man, make him.
He
He
catch
X
the ball
factor.
out
Go
the
get him a lock,
backfield
bro. He
really well.
everything,
He
bro.
could do everything. He's all around running back, man. Flat out. And you're not going to see too many running backs come out of the draft as good as this guy right
That's
away.
ready.
That's ready
That
like this.
that can actually carry the team, not just carry the ball a couple of times. He can carry the load of your team.
I hope we see something different over there, because they got the perfect setup. They got C.J. Stroud and they got B. John Robinson, two of the best at their position, and that's a start of a future right there. Period.
Man.
And they grabbed some receivers too in this draft. Something that we knew they would do.
They took a tight end last year. Like, man, you're always going to attack the skill positions. Like, man, I'd like to see you go. I'd like to see you trade for some interior. Get rid of some of these weapons or something, and trade for some of these interior. And help your interior a little bit to help yourself out. You got a rookie quarterback. You got a rookie running back. Go get some veteran dog offensive linemen to give your quarterback that extra second to dump it off, or get just so while you're waiting for the game catch up to your running back, like help him out in other ways, man. Man, don't disappoint us, man. This guy is that dude, man. I don't want to see him in the graveyard, please, bro.
Meanwhile, Jahmyr Gibbs, 30 rushing touchdowns this year, 2,000-yard back. Bet it.
Stamp
Stamp it.
already, stamp.
Stamp it. 2,000.
I mean, well, I guess when you go in and actually really get rid of Lamar Jackson, like you get rid of over 1,000 rushing yards immediately, and just because Iverson is mobile and can do that stuff, don't mean you want to base your offense totally around that all the time.
You might see if he doesn't be a 2,000-yard back this year, what you're going to see is you're going to see 3 running backs in Baltimore with 1,000 yards in the same season, and 2,000-yard receivers, and a quarterback that throw for 5,000 yards. With a tight end with 1,000 yards too. That's what you're gonna see. 3 running backs with 1,000 yards, 3 receivers, 2 of them in the tight end with 1,000 yards, and a quarterback that throw for 5,000 yards.
4-4. I just need to just commit 4-4. Get this guy the ball 25 times a game.
Bro, I'm cutting into Casey Fields' carries and what he could have did, and we held him back big time. This back was one of the scariest backs when he first came out. Guys just talked about him all day long. Oh my God, fucking back, can't tackle him. And we slowed him down with Lamar being a 1,000-yard rusher every year, and bringing another running back in, and then his brother comes through, and he still leads the team and all that good stuff. But like, Gibbs has the opportunity to do better than even what he did over that career. You got to think about it. Tyson Williams came first with a 2,000-yard back stamp.
Look at the running back that you got rid of. Forfield. To get keys to field. So,
and if you think I won't do it again, we already doing it now. We're showing you we'll do it again. Tyson is the reason why we lost 3 Super Bowls.
Got rid of a Super Bowl MVP for Fields. Got rid of a Super Bowl team that carried the team to the Super Bowl. Through the playoffs. Might have had some of the best playoff games, period. That's the talent that Fields had, and Fields should have got the ball another 5 to 7 times a game. Sometimes, 5 to 10 times a lot of games. But you still had success with your system. In the league, we had these players in the league that everybody, oh my gosh, dogs, or jump up to take top 5 and top 10 and do all this stuff. Give 2 or 3 players for that running back. McCoy is one of them players. I do not want to see this guy Robinson die over here. Man, we're gonna be killing you if you do, bro. Matter of fact, hit. I need to see something with Boone Jackson, bro.
Boone. Listen, when you think about running backs this year,
you're not gonna do it. You gotta
talk about that right now. Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about the running backs of the league this year, right? Guys that you want to see, that you want to hear from this year. We're gonna do it like this. I'm gonna start overall wise, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stay on the running back position, and I'm gonna go to the Bears. Walter Payton has been, having a couple seasons back to back.
Walter Payton has stepped his game up every season, the last 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah, so we're comfortable with him.
Splitting backfield.
If you're looking Bengals Nation, we got to figure out they need a coach. Let's keep it moving. Danger Griffin, he's been doing what he's been doing. So we want to see what's going to happen with Kendall Milton more than anything. He's a dog. Javante's getting up there long in tooth, but he's still Javante, so we know what he's going to do over there. We anticipating if Brian Robinson Jr. is going to be any part of this Browns offense, considering that Tony Moody stepped up out of nowhere and was a guy for him last year. But Brian Robinson as a rookie, being the #1 running back last year in the draft, redshirted for the most part. So I expect to see him in his second season as a Cleveland Brown putting in some work.
Even with Moody, even with their two backfield, Moody's 25 and Moody's 5'10", 199. So Robinson
Mm-hmm.
gives them another aspect. So we do expect to see. Man, I got to see some better things from Robinson. We expect to see him. We've seen
95
this Brown.
truck,
We've seen them.
95 break tackles, 95
One
stiff
thing
arm.
about the Browns, we know that they have no problem drafting players and redshirting them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not worried about it. That doesn't bother me. His production last year, that doesn't bother me at all.
Mm-hmm. He flat out redshirted, and they didn't have to bring him on the field at all because Tony Moody was balling for them, and they still
Dog.
had Nick Chubb there. I think Brian Robinson
We
and Tony
redshirted the
Moody,
tight end.
yes sir,
So
picked him
I'm
number
not,
one
that doesn't
overall and
bother me.
redshirted him.
Yep. So that's why I say that him redshirting him last year doesn't bother me. I'm not. I'm cool with him. We know what he'll do. We know he'll set some production.
When it come down to the Bucks, Jaleel Ruggs is Jaleel Ruggs. We know that. I would like to see Hassan Haskins play a little bit bigger role in his offense, but it goes through him. We don't really need to stay there. Um, I flipped on the Cardinals, but let's stay here. Can we see a full season of his Israel where he's not having? I want to see him with 250, 260 carries, somewhere damn near close to 300 carries. Can we get one of those seasons out of him?
Nah, we won't.
You won't see it? Nah.
We won't during the playoffs. I think we had an emergence of Cameron Harris over there. Um, Man, the Cardinals owner kind of does they do what they want over there.
Right.
Like Israel will do his thing, and I won't be surprised before the end of the season or before too long. I won't be surprised if it hits Israel last season out there. He does what he wants to over there.
Man, right. Now, I think I'm gonna be out honest with you. Dalvin Cook's little brother James Cook. I think we need to see a great season out of him this year because they just went to the HBCU quarterback that they traded for and Akil Glass. Chargers had the new star quarterback. Herbert is no longer on this team. It's the Akil Glass show. And when you bring in another quarterback like that and you got to get him up to speed, even though he's built like a dog right now, you still got to get this kid going. So I think James Cook is the answer to that. You can get him going on the ground. I'm not expecting, fucking 300 carries out of James Cook, but like, can we get 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard receiver out of this kid?
I mean, we just need to get if we can get can we get the owner to play his games this season?
Right. I like Zach Evans. I do
That's
think
the
the
question.
Chiefs need to make this kid their starter and just go forward with it. So I like that. Now, in the coach, in my situation, we need to see Zaquandre White as the starting running back for this team. I think Joey Adai's days are done in Indianapolis, man. I think, you got Tyler Algier, 93, but you got Zaquandre White and Bigsby. It's time to move forward. I want to see him as a starter, and can he clutch 1,500 yards rushing, 15 or more touchdowns this year. So we should see a difference over there. Look, we know Joey Cummins can be the Joey Cummins show. In my opinion, he has nothing to prove, but I think the Cowboys need to put their head down and do what they did. They had a bad season that they turned good late. And they turned it good late because they showed you they had the best running back in the league through the later part of the year, Joey Cummins. You don't see the kid at running back right now, but don't think he won't be back there before it's all said and done. So if this is the look we're going to see from the Cowboys, then Joey Cummins has to have that. I think if they wanted to, he could be a 3,000-yard back. Easy, bro. But, Wan'Dale Robinson at receiver or running back is going to be a problem for this team, period. He's going to cut into those numbers. But I think that the Cowboys are going to rely on Joey Cummins to win them 13 games this year easy. Flat out. In Miami, they got a pretty decent backfield, deep backfield. But we saw, Spencer Moss. But when the games got big, we saw Nuna East. So I think they should continue to do that and maybe bring Isaiah Pacheco, bring him in the mix too. 3 running backs, the way you throw the ball out there. You run the ball from shotgun more than you like to do anything else, which is perfect. I think for them to take that next step, they have to figure out something in the run game to get more out of the run game
Got
and
to
get
add a
more
little bit
comfortable
more to
with
their
it.
run game.
Yeah.
Right, definitely.
How does Zeus take the next step? Zamir White had a great rookie campaign. Take the next step. You know,
Might have been
take
one
that
of the
next
Eagles'
step so
best
that you
running
know
games.
if you get to the playoffs, you know, if you get to
You
the
can
divisional
count on
round
them
and you
being
facing
right.
one of them big teams and shit like that, you ain't got to drop back and throw the ball 45 times. Let this guy work. We already talked about it. B. John Robinson got to do some shit for the Falcons. Boom Jackson has to. I'm sorry, bro. He got to have close to 2,000 yards and 20 touchdowns. For me, if he don't, he's a bust after this. If he doesn't have that type of season this year, to me, he's gonna be a bust.
I mean, after paying Smoking Hazel type of bread, he just got paid. Look at his penalty on his bonus. Look at his bonus money. Like, is that in the plans after drafting Kyron Williams? I mean, is that in the plans? I don't. Oh man,
I
we
mean,
know this team. We know this team don't
They
trade.
gave him 10 carries today for 100 something yards and 2 touchdowns. He balled out,
Sheesh.
but he ain't had to. You know, he ain't had to get the ball
He
20
ain't
times.
he ain't get it 20 times.
He did it in
I
10.
don't think they can commit to 20 carries
Yeah,
to
but look,
him.
that just tell you how good he really is, bro. 100 yards and 10
Yeah,
carries, that's
110
really
carries.
good,
That's
bro.
crazy.
That's nasty. So,
That's crazy.
but he has to, bro. He gotta be
He a
close to
dog.
2,000 yards, man. You gotta show. You gotta make the. We gotta come out of watching games, watching the football team play, and guys gotta be like, "Fuck, I gotta play that." We haven't seen that yet. I mean, over in the other league, he's on the Chargers team. Shogun's got him, man. All I heard in a playoff game when Craig was playing was fucking Boom Jackson this, Boom Jackson that, this motherfucker blowing my shit. Oh my God. We gotta be able to hear that from the football team. Simple as
Let me
that.
get Boone Jackson so I can leave
I
Wendell
tried. He wasn't. He
at
ain't
wide
doing nothing. I
receiver.
tried,
I
bro.
know he ain't doing no trading. Like, look, let me tell you how stubborn his ass is, bro. He let Montez Sweat down his team just go to free agency, bro. Just instead of trading him and getting something for him, bro. Like, you know, he could have got at least a third round or something for him while he was on superstar or whatever. It don't matter at the age of 29 or 30. He still could have got something for him. He died, let him die, go down there, and we seen him go get 10 sacks as normal. But like, you know, I ain't mad at him. He damn sure ain't trading our division, but he ain't trading him. So,
When you
man,
look
all
at
we
the
gonna do is just keep
49ers,
talking to him and let him do it. Make him run him some
he
more.
better run that motherfucker. When you talk about the 49ers, though, you look at this fucking running back room, you like, God
Saints.
damn. Speed kills over here, but the problem is it's a mirage. I mean, we need to figure out who's the runner over here, who's actually the guy over here, and figure something out because this is going to be your quarterback's best friend, your running back room. Simple as that. So that means I'm not telling you to run a ball like we telling the Falcons to run a ball, but you got to be able to control the game a little better to better bring
I
that
think he
quarterback
has
AR along,
faith in
man.
any of these running backs, so we don't see a rookie quarterback throwing. We don't see 10 interceptions thrown in the first game of the season with your rookie quarterback. I mean, with 6 with your rookie and 4 at the backup.
Flat out.
Um,
I
don't
would
know if
like to.
that guy is
I would
here.
like to see Isaiah Spiller take that next step. You know, he was a red zone guy. He scored double-digit touchdowns
49ers, go
last year.
call the football team up. You hear us talking about some of these running backs. Maybe you need to go get you that guy. If you're not comfortable with that guy, and then we see you got Roger Craig over here, 227, 97. Like, don't be scared to go try something, man. I know you done missed some drafts at the computer, this, that, and forth. You had a good little draft today, man. Maybe you need to go get you that guy that you really got faith in, that this organization really got faith in. Is that guy on your roster?
Man, I think he is on the roster. Just got to get used right. You're going to see it to
Yeah.
the house step up again. He balled out in the playoffs, but I think it's the Isaiah Spiller show. And the more he have a good day, the more he cuts into the numbers of it to the house. And if that happens, we're looking at a guy that can possibly be the
Watch
starting
out.
running back by week 8. Jacksonville, we know what ETN can do at 30 years old, but y'all picked up Brees Hall, which was probably the best running back in the draft last year. So I want to see it get him going. And so the theory over here is pass the torch. Pass the torch. I mean, you play ETN enough to be able to, try to, knock down some of them career rushing, yards and numbers and things like that. But pass the torch.
It ain't
Um,
no rush for Brees Hall, man. Go get that. Go get that rushing title. This owner said they say ETN is one of the best backs. You know what I mean? You can stamp that. Go break Emmitt Smith rushing record, man. I
yes,
don't think the
sir.
torch get passed just yet.
I
I think
like it.
Brees will get some carries, but I think ETN is still the guy. Woman, especially with the coach missing some time last year, moving and them moving stadiums and all that stuff. Now they ain't got back settled, and I think I look to have to see a big year from ETN, but to see Brees Hall get some carries these games.
All right, so they picked up Eric Gray from Oklahoma. I forgot to drop his age down to 20, so that's my fault. I'm doing that right now. Um, they got two small backs though. They got Neef Anderson that they got from Neefy Anderson from the Ravens, who was a punt returner, kick returner, and was a Pro Bowl punt returner, kick returner in his short little year with the Ravens. Was traded to the Jets. They moved Antonio Gibson to the fullback, but play him still at tailback in the power sets. So we got to figure out how can you get these small little backs that you got over there, they small guys, with all that ability and agility and shit like that and speed to be able to kick it into a second gear for you over there when you're a power running offense. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The Lions. All right, Cannon Man's 27. Cannon Man's still the man at a superstar age, superstar threshold right now. But I like what Jermaine Martin started last year, and now you got to find a way to work John Emery Jr. in. So, I just want to see how they're gonna manage this situation over here. Packers. Big Sanders is here. I mean, it's Big
Man,
Sanders here.
this another guy. Big
He got
Sanders
the
is
only
here, but
99
like
speed running back in the league, bro.
if I don't see a better year from him, I'm damn near about to call him a bust. You ain't even had 1,000 yard. I mean, your best season was 951 and 11 touchdowns. Like with this type of speed, you should get that in your sleep. With your name, you should get that in your sleep. Like you at least got to have 1,500 yards and 20 touchdowns. Like I mean, let me look at his receiving in any of his years, but I just need to see more from Big Sanders. This is almost borderline bust so far as well. Like, there's no
Yeah.
way you don't even have at least a
I
thousand yards.
completely agree because they ain't just go get him. They got a monster fullback that can block, run, do everything with it. Like, and they got a monster offensive line as well, man. Especially the big boy from Florida State they got up front right now. Big Sanders should really be 1,000 yard back easy. Like 1,500 should be easy to get to. All
Right
right.
now, he a bust. He was a seventh pick in the draft when he was drafted, and like I say, this is just why Jackson Smith had his head down walking to the stage. He tried to hold a smile on his face, like I don't. If Bake Sanders goes through this, he's picked one pick behind Bake Sanders, then a top 10 pick 2 years before, and he seen how Bake Sanders like develop. You're going back and forth to wide receivers. Like if I gotta see it from Bake Sanders. Hit hero. If Bake Sanders don't do his thing this year, we're gonna be labeling him as a bust,
Mama
bro.
though.
What you gonna do? Step up to the plate.
All right.
Panthers.
The Panthers. Howard Streets. What?
Mm.
Yeah, here we go. What do we? What do the? I think McCoy just got to get in the playoffs. I think he got to step it up. I think Howard Streets is the guy. We know that. We already know what he can do over there. They are loaded in the backfield over there. They got good speed, good backs over there.
5'11", 230. We'll give McCoy his credit for at least and giving that running back that shot. Is one of those big
They got
backs.
to
You know
win
what I
ball
mean?
games. Bottom line, Howard Streets
Man, you
is a
gotta
good running
next
back
step.
on a team that barely escapes 500. We need them to win ball games. He needs to be able to find a way to get Howard Streets to take his team to that next level. They have to be able to get to that next level. And at this point, the next level is coming in second in your division. All
Yep.
right. So we got Ezekiel Stokes over here. We saw some Travis Dyer early for this team last year. He was playing at a high level as a diaper dandy. I like the two-headed monster. There's no more J.K. Dobbins. That question is gone.
Shit to
He's
say.
nowhere here. So we're looking at Ezekiel Stokes. And can he lead this team you know, back to the
The
promised
promised
land?
land.
Simple as that. Raiders got two-headed monsters over here. Can we see two 2,000-yard backs over here? The way they
I
run?
tell you what we can. I tell you what we can see. We can see 500 plus carries over here
Yes, sir.
between the two of them. So
Yes,
like,
sir.
and we do what we do know about this. When he did, had a whole lot that many carries, he made the playoffs. So he had a little bit of sophomore or junior year slump. I look for him, man. If that's what it takes, let me see that 500 carries again, and let's get back to it. You came in good. You made some good off-season moves. You moved around, and we give you your props for moving around, not being scared to move some draft picks and bring some dogs, some developed players. This owner said, I need some developed players that help me out. They're already developed. I don't develop the players the best. So the first thing is recognizing that, and then like you can develop your running backs, and you got them right here. Give them 500 carries between them and get back to it. You can get them both 1,500 yards at least,
Yeah,
like a
I
piece. You
agree.
know what I mean?
The moment you drafted Walker, you gave yourself a two-headed monster, and you got to see that shit out. They both are to be successful over here. They both have to have somewhere between 1,200 and 1,500 yards apiece. in my opinion, and split carries. Like Tremaine Bass, he at one point he was directing him into being like, damn, this guy might be the best running back in the league the way he's being used, and he's balling. He stepped up, had his breakout year, had another year right after that, and then Walker comes in the building and now you got a two-headed monster. You got to be able to put it together to get back into the playoffs. That first playoff you got to, the farther you get away from getting to the playoffs each year, the farther that was a fluke. And I think you're better than that. I think you're young in the league. You're learning things like that, and I like what you do offensively. I've played you a couple times. I really like what you do offensively. Take that next step, and continue to let it step. That step be the process goes right between them two running backs. So I like it, and well, we definitely need EB Savage to step up, bro.
Oh
Um,
god.
I mean, we talking about 99 overall, 99 speed running backs. This guy's 99. He is the fastest running back in the league right now. Um, let's see
He
what.
was drafted late in the first round, but at least he's had 1,000 yard seasons,
Mm,
consecutive 1,000 yard seasons. And
hmm
another thing about he's
But
a
there's the
smaller
problem
frame
though.
back.
Here's the problem though. 311 carries, 312 carries, and you average 3.3 yards a carry with that type of speed, bro. So I don't know if it's the offensive line thing, play calling thing, or what. But we need with that speed, this guy got to be somewhere between
Yeah,
5 to 6 yards a carry, bro.
that's what I think. That was the second part. As I'm saying, like 5'9", 5'9", 195. He can't be that. He does have the trucking and stuff, but you need to get him in open field. You need to get him in
Right.
open areas, and you need
Hit
to
the
get him
home
you need
runs.
to put him in better situations to be able to try to hit them home runs.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
maybe
yeah.
some shotgun running, inside zone, some bases, things like that. Like they get him some space and get ghosts. You know what I'm saying?
Cam
Um,
Akers up there in the tooth. Maybe. I mean, I see you got Freddie Womack over there. Maybe you might need a complimentary back to help over there to help set up Savage.
right.
Rams, there's just a little piece of advice just looking over there briefly, like that might be what you're missing. That might help you out a little bit, So when so Savage can make them home run hits. He's not might not need to be that every down all the time. Like he can take them hits. You got to pick and choose and put them in situations. We see you
Yeah,
use them in the receiving game as well, but
yeah. I
it's
agree.
not bad though.
I definitely agree, bro. You got a three-headed monster over here. They got to figure out how what they're gonna do with them. They already got a game plan for these running backs.
They
Verdell is
called
a
him
flat-out punt returner, kick returner for this team. But the Fields brothers and Gibbs are looking to get active this year. We'll see how that works itself out. Who's the start running back over here for the Saints? Nazir Dell? Is it Earl Peppers? It could be Tyrion Davis Price. They also just picked up a name is Smith from
Smith.
Texas A&M, so they loaded in their backfield too. It's just who's the bell cow is the question I would have.
We do know Nazir Dale is 27, getting up there in the two. So I mean, developing plug and play. Like I mean,
Listen, bro, Journey Brown should be 25, 30 carries a game too for the Seahawks team. 98, 98. This guy needs the football. Get him the football early, often, and don't go away from it. I don't care if you're throwing the ball to him at the backfield, but whatever you do, you turn your turnovers down by feeding this kid right here. You was handed a gift, and I literally mean that. No pun intended. You was handed a gift. This guy is exactly that. He can change the entire franchise if you do it, if you run him the right way. Give him the ball, bro. He's ready to go. Simple as that.
and we picked you as the most improved team, man. You was given this gift, man. Look, prove me right, bro. Like I spoke up for you, man. Prove me right. I need to see better numbers from him, man. I'm not gonna just throw him out there as a bust right away. No, it's
Mm,
one season, but he did pretty good. But I just need to see you take that next step with him, man. Get Journey Brown the ball, bro.
yeah, boy. Big time.
That's all.
Journey need that football over there, man. Texas. All right, can we see the Clint Whitfield show over here, man? We got a new
Oh,
coach, so you got to give it time to see what type of style of play they come up with.
slip past
Um,
the Steelers.
yeah, nah. Oh yeah, I did pick.
Okay,
Oh, my bad.
Steelers.
They got Jonathan Teller. They picked up 30-year-old Jonathan Teller with no abilities, but they also got Herschel
Got
Walker
him.
Jr. over here, 93 over only 23. So there's their. To me, this is their back right here. Period.
Herschel
Right here,
Walker.
chilling.
Yeah.
Because the old back over here from Alabama is I think at fullback now. Najee Harris, they can sneak him
At
in,
fullback.
at some power situations. But it's the Herschel Walker show right now. They just brought a veteran over here to help with the development of Herschel Walker, in my opinion. And again, Texans, Whitfield, he's the guy. Simple as that. Let's see what happens when they start using him because this is a coach who just got to figure out their identity. What about the Titans and Jalen Hayden at 26? They got Keontae Ingram from last year's draft, Picked up Greg Warwick. And they just drafted another running back. In my opinion, won't really see the field too much. He's a power back though, so they could do some things there with that. But to me, I want to see what this Keontae Ingram is about, and see if we got a tandem with Jalen Hayden and Ingram. Yeah, big back, 97 speed, 94 excel. So you know he been getting speed upgrade. Simple as that, because that excel at 94 still.
Ingram's young, but you still have Hayden there to mentor him. So it looks like you have like a 2-3 year window with with both of them to bring Keontae Ingram all the way up to speed. I mean, I'm gonna say the same thing to you. You run the ball. This could be your year, Titans. Like you just got to take that note. Why not me? Get these running
And you
backs the
got the
ball.
fucking horses over here to be able to do it, bro. Like,
Why
get
not
them
me?
boys the ball,
Like
man.
you wouldn't address that offensive line. These past seasons, you got that part of it. You know what I mean? You made some moves, traded some picks, accumulated some players, accumulated the talent, and let's put them together. Your big thing was you wanted some better cornerbacks as well this year. Ooh, you got one more coming over there. So but I mean, you need to take that note. Why not me? That underdog, man, run the ball.
Running shit out of it too. All right, Vikings, Danny Glover. I'm not convinced, but I am convinced that Master Teague should be the starting running back for this team. Simple as that. And they could do anything with this kid out the backfield as a receiver and the run game. Same thing they did with Danny Glover. They throw bombs all game long, but they got a sneaky run game if they wanted to have it. I like the speed. I like the build. 5'11", 220. I think he should be the bell cow for this team. With Danny Glover catching the ball out the backfield in third down situations. Other than that, Master T should be getting 20, 15, somewhere around there, and getting it going, man. That's our running backs. That's our show
Ain't
for
no
right now. Now
reason
we're going to talk
Chiefs
about
should
these
still have a
receivers tomorrow.
79 damn Curry, but that's our show, man.
Boy, man,
Y'all not
God
developing
damn,
these players, and y'all
at
don't want
all.
to trade and stuff. This guy has 79 carries still after redshirting for a year.
After redshirting the whole year, where the fuck is your development
Man,
at,
bro.
bro? God damn.
But that's our show for the night.
Yes, sir, man. We will holler at y'all tomorrow, because
Oh
we're
my
going to tear
God.
shit up when we get to them receivers. How many guys
Oh God.
undrafted receivers? How about the motherfuckers that thought they was going to get a
Oh
receiver and
my
that
God.
shit got took? Like, let me get that real fast.
Hey
I was one of
man.
them that got shit took from like, oh my God, twice. Twice, two guys
Mm-mm-mm.
that I was only thinking about getting myself was took them both times, man. Man, good show though, Snake and his
Man.
the franchise guru and the Snakes, because he had a banging ass drive. Henry Tokyo,
Man.
ew.
Hey,
Motherfucking Ron Bell,
say nothing.
ew.
Don't
Ew.
say nothing.
Holla at us. Ew.